We are here. We live. The Elite Podcast. Tegan, what good?
It's all love, Mumba. You know, with a rule, three,
Yeah,
four old
man.
legends. We're in the house. I had to make my own carbon copy athletic wear. So I hope my boy Dingo Warrior watching. I need some of these to show off some of the extra points you know, of the body.
I see you. I see you. You showing off the guns. You're showing off the guns. I see you.
It's July 4th weekend, you know what I'm saying? And I've been doing a little bit more iron lately. So a lot of people been like, the muscle been really popping T. It look like you going back to a little weights. I say, yeah, trying to show a little rookie out to get strong in Romani. So it's all good, getting a little buff, but
I see you. I
after
see
he
you.
leave, I'll go back to wherever I was.
Make sure, hopefully, ain't no steroids and it's just natural. No HGH, no steroids, nothing, right?
We keep it natural, man. We don't do none of them things there.
Yeah, a lot of coconut water and some, man.
Of course, my favorite.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, Tiga, let me do the shout outs real quick. So we got legends340.com. You go support Dingo, big up, our brother. We got Savory Eats LLC, Orlando by Sheena Fontaine. Anytime you're in Orlando and she got her food sale, go and support. We got the Good Life Apparel, our boy Nato, big up Nato, our baseball brother. Follow Andrea. We have Melting Pot Cooking Class at Instagram Melting Pot Cooking Class. And then also meltingpotcookingclass.com as well. Go support Andrea. She's doing good things. Support Mitchell McIntosh with the Sabone Caribbean Restaurant. We got Tegan favorite clothing line, the Apollo Legion. Big up.
Yeah. Legends also. You got no legends 1-2. That man is 1-2, 1-on-1.
Okay, 1-2.
I like them too.
You like them too? Okay. I'll make sure you remember that next time. Yeah. We got Linique Judge, follow her, Island Destiny 340, Serenity Braids by Nikki. We got Rico Canario, follow on www.lulu.com as well. And I will post all of this stuff up on the tick-up. We also got Right Way Service Station located in Princess next to Avis. We also got that. We got Paris Enterprise. Follow on Facebook, Livewire Sports. Follow on Facebook, Livewire Sports. They always live on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. So go out and support. And we got Midnight Entertainment as well. Midnight Entertainment. Go out and support all those. All the VIP people doing big things as well. All right, so I get out of the way, Tegan. I out of breath.
You're doing a good job. You becoming a pro at this thing, dude. We might be like super sharp. That man ain't gonna be able to test us.
I tried to make it at ESPN or Fox Sports 1, So
yeah, you're doing good, bro.
Yeah. Proud. I just try to be like you. You know how it is.
I'm trying to be like you. For the last episode,
talk to me. Big.
Oh my goodness. Give me your thoughts, as it was crazy.
We always hear stories how good Roberto was. And, I play baseball, so there's a lot of stuff that goes into the game. And hearing him talk about the mental aspect of the game and his mind thought about how we used to approach. And, he's saying like, hey, I'll put our glove down. I got this. It's just this, Tegan, and when Calvert come out, he knows this. And all the athletes who watching. If you have confidence in your ability and you put in the work and you have the utmost confidence, you will never fail no matter what. If you have a bad day, you'll just be like, I had a bad day, but you will never fail. You won't worry about failure. Failure will never come into the mind. And I got that from the episode, just his mindset as a baseball player. And then, and then he went through some of the hard roads and the tough, bad decisions and stuff like that. And it seems that he came with full grips of the situation and he accept what happened. And he's trying to make a whole 360 and turn around and get back to the youths. And that's the best you could do. If you make a mistake in your life, just get back to the youths, and hopefully that evens everything out in life. So
it was crazy. I mean, look, I went the whole weekend asking about him, telling people to give me stories because when I told the story of 5 consecutive no-hitters, that blew me away, brother. And he rushed over it like it was nothing. Like, well, sir, 5 no-hitters. You know how hard it is to throw 1 or 2, and he had 5 in a row. I mean, I was crazy. Sports Illustrated. I mean, he was on the cover.
Yeah, that was
one of the premier magazines in America and around the world in terms of sports. I mean, and just his humbleness and his humility. I mean, he came out, he held nothing back. He spoke about his stories. He said he didn't blame anybody else but himself. I
Yeah,
mean, it just showed that whole 360 of what he was and becoming a true man. And I think everything happened for a reason. And today it made him a better person because he has a story that can help every young Virgin Islander today. Every, you
true. That's
know what I'm
true.
saying?
Yeah, that's true. So, well said,
Big up,
Tegan.
Robbie. Big
Big
up.
up, Robbie. Big up, big up. Well said, Tegan. Well said. Now we have the guy, the man, the legend, Calvert White, episode 12. My task, real quick. I used to always hear about Calvert, Calvert, but I never knew who he was until I got the opportunity to play with him and the national team, for that short period of time. And good dude, he was a very professional. That was my first taste of professional basketball. How a basketball player used to handle himself on the court and come to practice and carry themselves as well too. And I just had that short period of time with Calvert. But as a sports, I love sports. I used to always read up on him and stuff like that, and do my best to um check him out and everything. So, and while we talking, we have Pang. I'm gonna bring Pang in, Tegan, and then you could touch up
Mhm.
and Pang could touch up, and then we'll bring Calvert in.
Sure. BNP.
Blessings. Well, good.
Okay.
Talk to me.
I was
Well,
looking for my right hand ace. I was like, but wait, no pang there. And they good.
Yeah, man. I just come from chowing down.
True. So Calvert White. Your
you look
thoughts
full.
as we
You,
get out of
you
the
look
game.
full.
Your thoughts on Commish.
Yeah.
Well, I first met Calvert in 1998. We went on a trip to Venezuela. Now, I have seen him play before, but I was a lot younger when I saw him play because he had a few years older than me. Um, and Calvert always been like a big brother to me, showing me the ropes of the national team. One of the funniest dudes I know. He's always for a good time, but he also mean business when he hit that court. So um, definitely one of my late inspiration added to into my life, and I just enjoy his company. He well respected in the community. Everybody in St. Thomas know Calvert, and he came over St. Croix and make a name for himself. Um, Proud that he in regards to him becoming the commissioner of the park and
Sports
recreation.
box.
Yeah. So, just excited for everybody to hear his story, and just I please ask as much questions as I want. Let me
True.
get some big time interaction today, and let's have some fun with it, like as usual.
Facts. Well, for me, I mean, Calvert is the greatest example that the Virgin Islands don't really know the type of talent that we had home. You know what I'm saying? Just like you say, Pang, I used to hear a lot about Calvert because he is a little bit older than us. And I used to be like, who is this dude? And when I finally got a chance to practice against this man, Mumba, at the national team, I was like, this dude was long. He could cover a lot of ground. He was an
Yeah.
excellent defensive player,
Yep.
like super excellent. He was so professional. He was the captain of the team, and I used to just watch him and just see how he moves, how he carry himself. And I'm gonna tell you, him and Roger Bell helped me so much in terms of my leadership, because as a point guard, you gotta look for people who have leadership qualities, and his leadership qualities was second to none. He works hard in practice. He speak up when he needs to speak up. He'll jump on you when you ain't doing your job. He'll take responsibility when he knows it's his fault. And that's what leadership is all about. And man, I can't wait for his story and see what else I can dig into to find out some of the things that I don't know. But in terms of the things that I do know, the Virgin Islands better be proud of this young man, because we ain't gonna get too many more like him. And the fact now that he's the head of sports park and recreation, and he been there a while, I've been there a while too. You guys know how long I was trying to get into sports park, almost damn near 9 years until
Yeah.
Calvert actually give me a push. So that's another way he helped me in there. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of having somebody with that athletic mind and the intelligence of the economic side, we have the best of both worlds. So the Virgin Islands better be proud of what we have right now, because the sports park and recreation is trending the right way. So without further ado, ain't about our job site no more. We wanted to put the legend to the face, and we wanted to hear this man's story. Because I am gonna be a kid in the candy store today, trying to figure out why he was just so courteous, so professional. Like Pang said, he was super funny. I mean, the first time he meet me, he was like, "Dude, man, the nicest thing." I was like, "Dude, why you even come up with that one?" I mean, this dude was, he just knows, it was no fake about him. So without further ado, Commissioner White, he's also my boss. You're my boss tonight. I can give it to you. Welcome to the show.
Listen, nobody else can introduce me to nothing else other than you and Pang from now on. I'm telling you, I have to keep you on a retainer to introduce me to anything else I go forward.
Facts. That's true.
What's going on?
We there, man.
Good,
What
man.
good with
We
you?
blessed. We blessed.
Man, I get me going after Robbie. That's a tough act to follow. Just before I get into my story a little bit, and I actually missed Robbie's session, so I don't know if he mentioned it, but throughout the years where Robbie was incarcerated, me and Robbie spoke numerous times. Robbie would call me and we would just chop it up and whatnot. There was days Robbie would cry, just telling me that, he just wanted a second chance to get out and make a difference and whatnot. I would like to think I had a small influence in him being released. Before he was released, there was some questions and doubts before they gave him that decision to come out. And I put my name on the chopping block and said, listen, I know this dude could come out and change some of these young men that's out there. We even talked before he even came out that we'll try to see if we could get him to the department. And I think we right there. As a matter of fact, Robbie might be starting with the department within a couple of weeks, coming aboard. So I plan on using him as a tool. Again, his story is
Yes,
man.
awesome.
I'll tell you this. I worked at a group home, and we would always bring doctors and lawyers and these professional men. And the children them would just never listen to those type of people because they couldn't really relate to it. But the minute we brought somebody that had a story where they either got locked up or some kind of drama in the life or something like that, those were the kind of stories that people would just stare and be in awe their whole life. So I look forward to working with the brother, man. Like you say, he made a 180 to where he been and where he's at now, and I think he's going to bring some great things to this department.
I agree, 1000%. He'll have my stamp of approval because his story is just he blew me away, and it's crazy the 360 he did with his life, and I'm so proud of him. So, man, I 1000% on board.
180, Tegan, 180. Can't do 360. If you do 360, you're going right back where you was.
But that means we're a basketball player. We're doing the windmill. You're right, Kavish. We're the kitchen line.
180. True.
180.
True.
Yeah, 180.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey,
So
I gotta tell you guys, man, I really love what y'all are doing. There's a lot of new school and old school, athletes from the Virgin Islands that people really didn't know about. They've heard about them, but they didn't really know their story. And this forum kind of, lets people know who these individuals are. We are trying to see if we could come up with the Virgin Islands Hall of Fame. And some of these very people that you've had on your show, I'm sure is going to make it, because all of them was legends in their own right. So, awesome. Big ups to you, Mumba, for coming up with this idea. I don't know what it is that did it, that made you just think about this, but it's something that was needed for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Big up, Mumba.
Hey, big up my brothers too, man. So
let me get this thing started, man. See why representing St. Thomas very well. How this thing all started. What age Was it? What got you into it? Let me know. I'm day one.
So basketball was not where Calvert White started. I actually was a baseball player.
Good
Played little
choice.
league, junior league, senior league. I played basketball for fun, but it was never something that I had a great interest in. And I was a late bloomer when it came to basketball. Um, as a matter of fact, I didn't play organized basketball or school league basketball till my junior year of high school.
Oh
I
wow.
didn't play ninth grade, didn't play 10th grade. So I only played 11 and 12th grade basketball. Um, what happened with me was Thanksgiving tournament is one of the big tournaments over here in St. Thomas. Um, Sports Park and Recreation, ironically, is a department that used to run that tournament every Thanksgiving. And I think one Thanksgiving, my junior year, the coach of Charlotte Amaloui, which was Pedrito Estrell, ended up saw me playing with a team for that tournament, and just casually came over to me and he said, you interested in playing for the school league? And at the time, I really wasn't, because basketball, like I said, was my second sport. But he told me to come out and try out for the team and whatnot. Came to the practices, ended up making the team, and the shift started there for my junior year where I started to put down the baseball a little more and started picking up the basketball. Um, Basketball really, really grew on me fast. It was an exciting game. It was a fast game. And once I started really playing, I really saw that it's something that I enjoyed and I started to take it a lot more seriously. But I really didn't play organized basketball till my junior year of high school.
Wow,
Wow,
that's
Really.
crazy.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
seriously.
That is
Yeah.
amazing. Wow.
So then, let
It,
me ask you real quick before Pangden jump in. Did you start it in your junior year or your senior year? Like,
I know
because
I started my junior year. Like I said, I always considered myself to be an athlete. So any sport that I played, I one way or the other, I excelled in it. But I did start my junior year. We had a pretty good team. As a matter of fact, we won the St. Thomas League. Um, of course, we lost to Central in the championship, both my years actually. But I started both my junior and senior years on the high school team.
wow, who was your competition at Central? Who did you look up to, or who was the big dog at that time?
Well, back then it was all about Tyrone Alec. Tyrone Alec was my nemesis. We would always meet Central in the championship games, any tournament we played. We always know that that's who it is the championship was going to be. Um, we didn't really fair Timmy them. Um, we would blow by Rashidi them and all the other teams. But Central was the team to play back when I was playing basketball.
I
Greg
could
Denny.
I could remember some of them boats because and also remembering Central used to be the team, especially on St. Croix for sure. Um, I remember like some of them tournaments you I used to come over and play and like you said, I make it to the championship. Like give us some of your favorite games. Like how did you play? How did you fare? How did your team fare? And like how did the matchup stack?
You know what? I could remember that our offense was a slow down game, but Central always had this full court from time the buzzer start, pick up man to man full court.
Press.
They would press from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, but it wasn't just their starting five. It come like they had another five and the bench just sitting down waiting to come into the game. I mean, they really, really, really had from 10 deep they had on their team. Any of those guys could have started for any other school that they went to.
Right.
But,
Wow.
like I said, at that time, Central ran the route. Tyrone Alec, that was a monster. Everybody talk about Timmy in high school. And don't get me wrong, Timmy was a good player his junior and senior year. But by far, Tyrone Alec was the best basketball player in high school when I played. By far.
Right. I think we all would agree with that at that
Yeah,
time.
we agree. Tyrone was a different animal when I saw him too. I was like, Jesus Christ, who is this guy? This is crazy.
He just had the total game. I mean, playing a point guard, he was fast. He could pass. He could shoot, and he would catch you slipping every now and then. You would get Duncan. But you know, on the court, I didn't like those guys at all. I mean, those were my enemies. But after court, we were really really good friends.
With
You
respect.
know, I grew to play with Tyrone on the national team, but at the time, man, that Central team, they were awesome. Like I said, we would breeze through all the other teams, but when it came to Central, we had our hands full.
So, on your island of St. Thomas, who was your in-house rival?
Was he Dorican good at all? What did he
You
even have
you
a Dorican?
you Dorican was good. They was good. Like I said, we won the high school championship both my years. Um, Dorican was good. I think at the time, I think Leroy Blyden, not Leroy. Leroy is Blyden Leroy last name?
Yes,
What
yes,
Mr. Biggs? Leroy was on the team during that time. Um, but we had a pretty good high school team too. Teton Donadell, Kyle Sua. Um, you know, we kind of was the cream of the crop on St. Thomas. We would run to all the private schools and whatnot. But I like I said, I was a late bloomer when it came to basketball. So at that time, although I was a good player, I would not consider myself a great player because I didn't really reach my potential till I went to the next level, college, and then further on to play professional basketball. But at the time, like I said, when I first started, it was just something fun. I saw that I could play the game. Um, I never looked at myself, unfortunately, I never looked at myself as a big man because, truth be told, I played center when I was in Charlotte Amali.
What?
Yeah. At 6'4", I was considered a center in the Virgin Islands.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I was always a player that always wanted to bounce the ball, would work on my handle. So I never let that got me stuck in that position of being a center. And I knew eventually if I wanted to go to the next level, there's no way I was going to play center. So
That's
I
facts.
always worked on my game to my high school years.
Nice.
So let me talk about your
Wait,
transition.
let me get a question in.
Okay.
So since you started so late, did anybody took you under your wing?
Yeah, you know what? Even after I finished playing my senior year, I didn't. The game wasn't really that important to me until one day I ended up playing against a guy by the name of Holman Harley. I'm sure eventually he'll probably be on this show one of
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
But playing a pickup game up Anna's Retreat where I grew up, um, you know, I heard about Holman Harley before, but I never knew who he was. And we're playing, and I'm holding my own against him. And after the game, he came to me and he was like, "What are you still doing here on the island?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "You want to go away to play ball?" I was like, "Hey, somebody called me to go away. I gonna go." And so said, so done. Holman Harley made a call. And to this day, I always tell him I'll be forever grateful for him because I wasn't heavily recruited out of high school. We all know the troubles we have here living in the Virgin Islands. There's
Yes.
not a lot of notoriety. The coaches, unless you are putting up 40 and 40. I mean, even Timmy at the time, at 6'10", wasn't getting a lot of calls from schools to go play college ball. So that's one of the big problems we have here in the Virgin Islands. But Harman Harley was the person responsible for me moving off of the island and going to play college ball.
Wow.
That's awesome. Because
That's
that was
awesome.
actually my question. How did you get recruited to go to college? So
That's
you
awesome.
knock out the question easily right there with the answer.
Yeah. He made a call at the time. Like I said, athletics wasn't that important for me. Um, I think one time I was supposed to do my SAT test, and we had the Vorno CPO tournament going on in Charlotte Amali. I skipped the SAT test to go play in that tournament, so I didn't take my SATs. So that kind of messed me up a little bit because when he made some calls, of course, you have to get your SAT scores and whatnot. So I actually started my college career at a junior college, Southeastern Illinois Junior College, where it was all region, all conference. But to me, to be honest with you, that was great for me because the junior college level prepared me for then transitioning to the Division One level, over to the Ohio Valley Conference. But when I first got there, man, leaving playing center and then automatically thrown into the three position, skinny kid coming from the Virgin Islands, it was like night and day for me.
It's crazy.
It's
So
crazy.
you actually answer another question that we're gonna ask you. So it looked like we should just let you talk. As I was I was gonna ask you what position he played when he went to junior college because
So
you leave St. Thomas playing the five,
yeah,
you got end up going and play the tree, which is for a lot of people who don't know a lot about basketball, which all we do.
yeah,
That's a complete
yeah,
whirlwind. More
yeah.
responsibility in handling the ball, guarding faster players on the wings. I mean, how did that transition
It,
go?
it, it, it was a shell shock for me. First off, on my recruiting, when I had to give my numbers as far as your height, your weight, and all of that, I think I put down on a sheet that I was either 175 or 180. Now, when I left St. Thomas, I knew I was only about 160. So um, I tried to patch the numbers a little bit. But the thing what helped me move into the threes, I always was a slasher. So that was like the perfect position for me because I was a person like running on the wing, um, slashing to the basket, was quick to the ball. So the transition wasn't really that bad for me. Where I lacked was in size and strength. I had never lift weights before. So when I got to college and I was playing against these guys that was bigger than me, but just as fast, that's when I was
Yes.
like, okay, Houston, we have a problem.
Deal with them. And them man are bigger and faster than we.
Yeah,
You'll be like, Jesus Christ.
yeah,
But it's crazy.
Well,
yeah.
you grow to hold your own. One of the big things that I used to love about hanging around Io, because when I came on the Venezuela trip, I was in my last senior year of high school, so I was the youngest on the team. One of the things that I like was an R with Io is like all these name drops that I used to play with people that I would see on TV, and I know them personally. When we go
Yeah.
play different team, we know like this famous person, this person, like who were some of the big name players you played for your freshman year, like that gave you some trouble playing against them?
Freshman year of college,
Yeah.
um, my freshman year, I can't really name any names. It was my junior and senior year where I started, following, USA basketball and you know, scoop and all of that, and where you see where players would be ranked and all of that. Um, during that time, um, let me see who it is was a big player during that time. Joe Williams was still playing then. But in my conference in the OVC, there was this guy named Bubba Wells. Um,
Yes.
he had
You
later
remember
transferred. Bubba played in the league.
Lanche
But
Blazers, right?
yeah, Bubba played in the league. So he was the guy who we looked at as the NBA prodigy and whatnot. Um, but for me, man, like I said, when I look back at it, I always say that, I wonder what would have been had I taken the game a lot more serious. Um, in hindsight, when I look at kids now and how serious they are in the weight room and how they take care of their body, um, conditioning and the sleep and all of that, I didn't really worry about all of those things. I was one of those players that when the ball threw up, I was just ready to go.
Yeah.
Never used to go in the weight room. I back then I was a party guy, so I used to stay partying and whatnot. But conditioning wise, I always was that's the one thing I would always tell people. I was always in great, great, great condition. I played against a lot of guys that was better than me talent wise, but because I was better than them conditioning wise, at the end of the game, I would always excel over them because to the end, when you tired, I don't care how good you is. If I still going 100%, I gonna beat you every time.
Right.
Yep.
You know
I
what I'm
hope.
saying? So that
I
was
hope.
one of the things that I prided myself with. I was in tip top shape.
I hope all any young players watching, it's always good to outwork the next person, Mister. They got a quote out there.
Yeah.
Hard work always beat talent whenever talent ain't working hard, Mister.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yep, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah, you would beat me up for the first 3 quarters, but when that fourth quarter come and I see you bending over and your hand on your knees and all of that,
Yeah. Yep.
that's when I go. That's when I would look at you and say, I got him now. Fourth quarter would always be my best quarter because, like I said, I pride myself in being in shape. I'll run all day. Wasn't going to the weight room, but conditioning wise,
It was ready.
I was always ready when it came to
Let me
conditioning.
let me ask you real quick because we spoke about this a little bit. You obviously is a very intelligent dude. When you left St. Thomas to go now to junior college and then to Division One, how was the transition in terms of learning all these different plays, all these different type of sets? How did it hit you? Was it easy for you? Because I spoke about my struggles. I needed the redshirt the whole year, just trying to relearn the game. How was it for you?
It wasn't easy at all, and I tell you this: my college coach in my junior and senior year at Southeast Missouri State ran the Chicago Bulls offense. Now, if anybody who don't know what the Chicago Bulls offense, it looked like a simple triangle.
Yep.
That offense have so many different options in it. You would be unbelievable. I mean, it took us the whole of preseason to learn that offense. Once you know it, it's a great offense because there's a lot of options in it. But to answer your question, Tegan, it wasn't easy at all because coming from high school where 3 or 4 plays and you run them the whole year to now going to a program where there's actually set plays and set
Yes.
offenses and different schemes and you know coach calling plays from the bench and it's something you really have to pay attention to and you know follow along and I think part of my leadership was, I ended up becoming a student of the game, where I felt that if you were smarter than somebody, again, talent is great. And I've played against a lot of talented players. But I've also played against a lot of players who were not that smart.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of the times, if you were smarter than a player, um, you could get away a lot at being, a better player of that person.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So going into college, how was that adjustment? Do you deal with like a lot of being homesick?
I was homesick every year I left the Virgin Islands. When I left St. Thomas in 1994, and I tell people this story all the time, it was 94 degrees when I left home. Um, 8 hours later, when I got to Illinois, it was 5 below zero. I was ready to
What?
jump on a plane right away and get back to St. Thomas because I left
What?
in January. I
Oh,
left in
okay.
January, so it was
Okay.
winter time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, being away, there wasn't nobody that you really know doing the breaks. Everybody would go home and you still there on campus. It took some adjusting. It took some adjusting, but again, by that time, I knew this is what I wanted to do. So it's something that you have to sacrifice and suck it up.
Yep. Yep.
Let me take it back a little bit. Because you said once you started playing basketball, you slowly put on the baseball.
Mhm.
How often did you play baseball? Like after you started playing basketball, like you still were playing in leagues and stuff like that.
No, no, no. It was all about basketball for me. Basketball was just such a fun game. Um, I just like how fast paced the game was. I mean, not taken away from baseball. I could still pick up a baseball and a glove today and play the game. But the game of basketball was so much more exciting. Baseball is a game you're waiting for that next exciting play. Where basketball, it was just consistent. and I love that. I'd really love that. So I kind of just put on the baseball and started focusing on basketball all together.
Good.
So let me ask you a quick baseball question. Did you ever play against Robbie?
No,
When you
Robbie
did?
were older than me. Robbie were older than me, but I used to watch those games that Robbie, and he's telling the truth. Robbie would pitch and tell the whole infield, everybody on the field to sit down. That's confidence. When a man pitching tell you sit down, and nobody really hitting the ball for real, the boy were bad. He were really bad. Robbie them game used to draw a lot of people. During that time, Robbie and his brothers and when you hear the Smiles brothers and whatnot, everybody wanted to see who they were playing, or who was showing up them game, and those games had a lot of money bet on them back in the day. But
Imagine.
he's a older guy than me, and one of the great things that Robbie did while he was incarcerated was a lot of the other inmates kind of looked up to him. Robbie's the type of person people kind of gravitate to him. So he called one day, and he and I don't know how he pulled this off, but he said, "Yeah, we're trying to get some of you guys to come into the prison and play against us." And so said, so done. We went in there, me, Jabari Brown, Jojo Gums, couple of us. We went into Golden Grove and we played against the inmates in the prison. That was a great experience. I enjoyed that.
I win.
Of course. And I'd tell Robbie this all the time. I don't even think Robbie, I believe he get home that game, Robbie will tell you he have one of the best jump shots, but I believe he get home that game.
Are you nervous? Because I know jail man probably to play rough as
I,
hell.
I am going to be honest with you. I was so nervous. But once we got in there, all of those guys start showing us love. At one point, I looked at some of the teammates and I was like, we really inside the prison. It didn't feel like you were in prison.
It really did.
Tigo, I hear you shout out, Dingo all here, but at that time, his brother was also in there, Ringo in there, and he was kind of trying to play physical and whatnot. But hey, that was one of the best experiences I have ever had going into Golden Grove and playing against those guys. When we left there, you could see how them guys' morale had moved up. To see people from outside coming in and just showing them love and playing basketball and whatnot. It was crazy. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
I tell you a quick story. Hoyas went in because Sammy used to continue. And that man beat up on Hoyas. I hope Sammy ain't listening. So that man asked for me and coffee, my son. And we went in there the next month, my son. And somebody see me and coffee, they went crazy. See real man, that was son. See real man.
That man used to love. That man used to love when we come in to play. As a matter of fact, Khalid Gerard was with us, and during the game, Khalid shoes had ended up busting out. The entire front issue ended up busting out. Robbie said, "Hold on, I'm going to come back." Robbie went in his cell and bring back a brand new pair of Jordans for Khalid to play in the thing. True story. True story. It was just an unbelievable experience, man.
That's crazy.
That is one I would cherish and remember because, how we felt when we left, because I know how some of those guys, to see them having to go back by the cell and whatnot for those couple of hours that we was there, they weren't even thinking that they were in prison. I really love that experience.
They felt human and it brought back that humanity to them.
Yeah, definitely.
So we got a viewer question here, Calvert, from Jason Page. Having been through the college recruitment process, what type of things should an aspiring VI athlete do to put themselves in the best position to be recruited?
Tape, video. I always tell people, make sure you have a tape ready. Coaches want to see what they're getting, and if you don't have that highlight tape or some kind of game tape to show them, coaches ain't really going off a word about now these days. I always tell tell players have that tape ready so that when a coach is interested, you have it ready to give to them.
Okay. Good question. Good question. So Calvert, so we are college, right?
Yeah.
So your junior and senior year, how was those
Yeah.
seasons like?
Man, my junior year, I was all OVC, all Ohio Valley Conference, made the newcomer, first team newcomer. Um, During this time is when I'm starting to, take basketball more serious. You know, Still not going to the weight room that often, but, I'm going to the team session weight room. I hated weights in college, which is funny because now I eat weights, and Tegan could tell you that. So it's just
Yes,
crazy. I hated weights.
he's the strongest commissioner in the VI. The strongest.
Yeah, my junior and senior year. Actually, my junior year, my college coach got fired, and then we brought in a new coach. So I had to learn a whole new system over again. Brought in some new teammates. But it's at this time, I'm one of the better players in the OVC. Um, and now I'm getting letters from different agents and things like this. So I'm like, okay, maybe I could make a career out of this. I still didn't really think I was at that level yet for the NBA, but I knew playing professionally somewhere, I would end up. But my senior year, my stock started going up and up and up and up. I had a pretty good senior year. I think I averaged 16 and 7 or something like that. And I actually got invited to the NBA summer camp. At that time, the NBA summer camp was held in Long Beach, California. Um, and I ended up being on the same team with Tracy McGrady. Tracy don't know he was an NBA player. Tracy probably played like one game, and that was it for the rest of the summer. But at those times, the NBA summer camp was down in Long Beach, and again, moving to that level from college now to playing players that are trying to go to pro, another total different level. It's just crazy how college separates itself from high school, and then the pros separate itself from college.
College.
I'm thinking, I just had a pretty good junior and senior year. I could hang with some of these guys, and then you get out to Long Beach and you really see that the talent and the level was so much more now on a different scale.
Yeah. So let me ask you real quick, Mish, because I know you play with the VI national team too, as much as it helped a lot of us when we went to our professional career. What age did you play with the national team, and like how was that experience? Were you playing for the national team before you went to all of these different tryouts?
Yeah, my first year on the national team was 1994. After my first year of college, I think that's when we went to Honduras. On that team, it was myself, Tyrone Alec was on that team. Uh, that was the first time I actually saw Zorro played, and I was in awe of Zorro. I had always heard about Keith Zorro Swanson, and I never really saw him play. Um, Man, he was so silky smooth, man. I could see him now. Like Zorro don't move fast, but he would get to the basket anytime he
Easily.
wanted to.
Easily.
Don't know how he did it. He wasn't a fast dude. Like Tegan get blistering speed. Tegan gonna blow by you with speed. Zorro gonna walk by you, but he's still gonna beat you to the
He will
basket.
get there. He can get
Yeah,
there.
it was just different. But that was my first year on the national team. Zorro them was the elder statesman. I had to be in 18, 19 at the time. So I was a rookie on the team. Tyrone was a rookie. That was Rajabel first year. Carl Thomas first year. Um,
Yeah, that was a
that
good team.
we had a really good rookie team. That was the first time I met all those guys when we went to Honduras. Uh, was Johnson on the team? I want to believe was Johnson Isidore on the team. Johnson might have been on the team, but my first year was 1994 when we went to the Honduras and just sitting on the bench watching Zorro and Charles Claxton. Those
Won't
guys
both
kind of.
Claxton brothers on the team with you?
Yes, Charles was on the team with Charles Claxton. Charles
Man,
and
that's a really good
Tony
team.
Advan.
How did I do in
Yeah,
Honduras?
we did. You know what? The Virgin Islands always have this thing where I think we met a week before that tournament. And Tegan, you know how that go.
Yeah.
We met in Miami, practiced for a week before we went down there. Did really good, but again, we never really had that cohesiveness. When we travel, it was always last minute. But that was the start of something great, man. I mean, from since then, me and Raja and Carl became pretty good friends, and up to this day, we're still really good friends.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. You know what's crazy and what's amazing is the fact that you started playing basketball in your junior and senior year in high school,
Yeah,
and then you went to college, and then you got invited to an NBA summer camp. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing. That's
yeah.
amazing.
You know what? The NBA summer camp really is what humbled me. I think up until then, I always felt that I could make a name for myself. Um, I had no idea what I was going up against when I got out there to Long Beach. I left there feeling this big because there was a lot of guys that went to the NBA that year, and you know I wasn't ready for that level at the time. Definitely wasn't ready for that level. So it humbled me, and that was the first time when I got back is when I started lifting weights. I said if I'm going to make a career out of this, and I need to take it serious, and I plan on paying bills, playing basketball, I gonna have to take it all around. Started lifting weights. I had several different offers to go. I had an offer in Spain, had an offer in Rotterdam, um, and had an offer somewhere else. Trying to think where it was. And I ended up picking Rotterdam. And it's funny, the reason why I picked Rotterdam is when I did my research, um, everybody in Rotterdam speaks English. And I've always heard the stories about players going to the different countries and how the language barrier was a problem, and you couldn't understand what the coach was saying and whatnot. And I just didn't want to go through that. Ended up choosing to go to Rotterdam, and I would say that I am happy that that's why I chose to go play basketball.
I was gonna say I thought you chose Rotterdam because everybody over there smoke weed legally. I say use a commissioner.
Tegan, this thing live, Tegan. This is live, Tegan.
You're trying to get you fired.
I thought you were gonna say that. I said I'm so happy as everybody speaking English.
I will say this. I will say this. The 4.5, 5 years that I played there was some of it's probably ranked up there with the 5 best years of my life. Rotterdam is a really, really cool city. It's 35, 40 minutes from Amsterdam. And we know how crazy Amsterdam is. But I never felt that I needed to leave there and go to another country. Although I got offers to go to other places, I was so content and comfortable about where I was. You hear a lot of players that go to countries and they don't get a check, they don't get paid.
Yeah, big up to Rena.
Lorena said drop that to the
Big, big arena, big up. That's funny, listen.
Rena, the good thing about it is I'm the boss, so then I should have given it test them. Yeah, but rather than, man, the people showed me so much love. I love that city, man. I really love that city. I made a name for myself there. My first year there, I was first team, all European League in that conference.
Oh, nice.
And you guys know from back in the day, I was always a jumper. So I was one of the first people in that league to win back-to-back slam dunk champions in the European League in Rotterdam. Won it my first year and my second year.
Wow.
And then my second year was MVP over there in that league. But yeah, man, that those 5 years playing professional basketball is something I would never forget.
So
That's
let me
awesome,
ask
man.
you,
That's
because
awesome.
most of us know this in terms of me and Pang and Mumba, because we played with you. Obviously, we know you very well. You think the people in the Virgin Islands have an idea who you actually was? Because they just look at you and think like you're just somebody simple. We do that a lot in the Virgin Islands. Yeah, that's a
No,
simple person.
you know what happened back then? Social media wasn't really that big, so I think that kind of prohibited guys from in that era from getting the notoriety. I think when I played it professional ball overseas, what was a big thing? And I know because I used to be up all night. MySpace was big during that time.
Yeah.
So that's to show you how far back we gone.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't know. Like I said, social media now is so big that that's how a lot of people get information out. I think if you had social media back then, we would have gotten the same notoriety. I mean, even Raja Bell, a lot of people didn't really know who Raja was until Raja clothesline Kobe.
Yeah.
But Raja is and I tell people all the time is one of the fiercest competitors that I have ever played against, man. This guy would literally get our team in a fight every
Every
tournament that we play.
every tournament. Every
Every
tournament.
time. And
That's
that's
funny.
no joke. Wherever we went to play, no matter what team it was, whatever country it was, and he don't care what country we in, he would look at you and just know you got to follow. Raja getting in a fight. Um,
Yeah.
but
He was
but
that
but
crazy.
the guy was just tenacious, man. I mean, he would go so hard and that's why he made it to where he made it because he would not be denied. Raja took it. Nobody didn't give it to Raja. Raja took it.
So,
Definitely.
like I would like to say, man, like I said earlier before I introduce you, just being around guys like you and Raja,
Mm,
especially when we won that championship in 2002, and I saw you guys, the same thing you saying about Raja, his toughness, but your
mm.
leadership. I have never seen nothing like that, and I was in college at them time, but you guys was just on a different professional beat that I just
Right.
wanted to follow. Where did you get that from? How did you develop it? And were you always a captain? Like, how did that come about?
No, definitely wasn't always a captain. Like I said, my first year as a rookie, sat on a bench watching Zoro them play. But I was okay with that, paying my dues. Um, it just came from playing with those guys over and over as we played different countries, and I saw that those guys had my back and I had those back. You get that trust issue. Like Pang was saying, Pang went with us when we went to Venezuela and we played against that. Doing that here, I think Puerto Rico was picked to win that tournament, Pang, in
Everything. Yeah.
Venezuela.
Right.
And we ended up beating Puerto Rico in Venezuela with me and Raja in the backcourt. It just became a trust with us. We never really had a all around best team that in talent wise. But when it came to heart, I would guarantee the Virgin Islands was bar none, bar none.
Right.
So I
And
want to talk about a first funny story. I want you to tell it. That story. I think Pangi was on that team that year when we went to Mexico. I pick up man from off the street and we play against Al for them. You want to tell
Oh
that story?
man. First off, like I said, the Achilles heels of the Virgin Islands national team is um, we really never were able to practice, weeks or months ahead of the competition like most of the other countries do. Some of those other countries have $2 million budgets and stuff like that. Um,
Mm.
I don't even think the U.S. Virgin Islands budget was over 100,000. Um,
mm,
but to put a team together a week before competition, it's really really hard because although you have talented players, which we always did, um, the camaraderie, the chemistry, that's something that takes time to put together. So we getting ready to go to Mexico, um, and again we had practice a week before the tournament, and I hearing all kind of names getting called that I never hear in my life. And at that time I was an established basketball player. So when you call somebody name, I'd be like, oh yeah, he'd play for so and so, and he'd play for so and so. I literally believe we picked up man, that at the time was working in a mechanic shop and thing like that to come play with our team.
It was crazy.
But I'll tell you one thing. That team, when it came to heart, no other Virgin Island team that I have been on, no other national team that I have been on, had more heart than that team there. I mean, to beat a Dominica Republic team that had on Al Horford, Francisco Garcia, and these are two NBA players, and at the time started for the teams that they were playing for. To play against a little U.S. Virgin Islands team that we probably was 8 deep. We probably went 8 deep players. And we embarrassed that Santo Domingo team. We didn't just beat them; we embarrassed them. Ended up meeting Puerto Rico in the championship game. I think halftime we was down 2, but Puerto Rico got the best of us in the second half. But ended up taking home the silver medal for that tournament. But that team, and that's why I tell people, if it comes to talent or heart, I gonna pick heart any day of the week.
Yep.
Any day of the week.
That's true.
I echo that sentiment. That team there, by the time we leave the VI, I remember C told me, son, we're gonna get destroyed. But we just went and we just laid out on the floor, and hey, Dominican Republic did not go to sleep after we embarrassed these dudes.
No.
It was crazy. That team had so much heart, Bumba. Pangy was on that team, right?
Yeah, I was there.
Man, we destroyed these guys, man. It was crazy.
And that tournament, I saw something out of. I always knew Coffee was a great player, but when I tell you, man, he had Al Horford looking like he was a little boy, man. I mean,
right.
And I ain't even exaggerating. The way I see what Victor deal with Al Horford, and this is an NBA multimillionaire. And at the time, Al Horford had to been he had to be like second team All NBA.
Yeah, he was.
He was very highly rated.
And I watch what Victor, toy here around, man. It was just a beautiful thing to watch, man. It was just a beautiful thing to watch.
Cover your beast.
Big up, Coffee. Big up.
Zeus.
Hey, so we got a question from Quinton. What was your favorite or go-to move, and did you ever feel pressure being a leader of a team?
Nah, man, leaders lead. That's what leaders do. At the time when Pang and Tegan them came on the team, I was older. Those guys, they were the talent of the team. I was more just to keep the team together. So it wasn't no pressure at all. And them guys disciplined. I mean, you'll meet teammates that you have to talk to all the time and whatnot. They were the ultimate professionals. They were so close together, man. Tegan, Pang, and Coffee had their own little clique. They would always be together and whatnot. Yeah. My job was like I said, I was the elder statesman. We leaving at a certain time. In your room at a certain time. I was like the big brother, but it wasn't like I was trying to throw those guys around, and they always showed me respect. So when I became the captain of the team, like I said, I had good players to be a leader too. So that was easy for me. That was easy for me. Go-to move, I never really had a go-to move. Like I said, I always mimic my game off of Scottie Pippen was my favorite player.
Okay.
Scottie was a guy that could pass the ball, great defender, slasher. He could do it all. And that's kind of who I mimic my game off of. Never really had a go-to move. Not like Tegan. No, Tegan. When I see Tegan, he ready to cross, and I say, "Bye, man, cross you."
The nicest thing. Come, man, the nicest thing.
One thing I was very impressed with your game, and I hope you take this as a compliment. You weren't the best at anything, but you
Correct.
was a jack of all
Yeah,
trade. You
yeah,
didn't have
yeah.
no weakness to your
No,
game.
I'll agree.
Zero.
I agree with you at that 100%. I never was a great shooter, but would shoot if I had to. You know, could pass the ball, could dribble the ball, good defender, could jump, but wasn't great at any one thing. So I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah, you definitely led that way. You always practice hard,
Well,
and
I,
and,
I
and
would I would toot Tian a little bit, Pam. I felt he was a great defender because man, when we had guys like me, you and Pang on the court, our defense was so different.
Yeah,
Me and Calvert was more disciplined. Pang was more of the robber, the thief.
yeah,
Pang
yeah,
would put
yeah,
some
yeah,
into my handler. But then I is the flapper, so you can't touch me because I
yeah,
flying all over the floor for the chance. And Calvert would just run. So we
yeah,
yeah,
could
he
really knock down any if your wings ain't good, if your wings ain't
Uh,
yeah,
savvy, you can't beat us. Cause we got
you
locked
yeah.
down
know
your way.
you know what impressed me one year. I can't remember where we was, but I remember one time you hurt yourself. You hurt your ankle or something, or your
Mm.
hip or something, and you was really like our only true point guard on that trip. And Calvert is the one that actually played point where you were out.
I think that's Panama.
It,
When
it,
Panama for Puerto Rico set that screen at me and mash up my hand. Like he gave me like a hip bruise.
it
It was
either
in Panama.
Panama or Brazil, one of them.
Yeah,
Did you go Panama?
Brazil I get knocked out from Barrera. When you think I flop in.
might have been Panama. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
Panama.
Pang. Like you said, and that's why I said I agree with you 100%. It's funny. My second year overseas, same thing happened. Our point guard get injured, ended up breaking his hand. I ended up playing half the season at the point. I am not a point guard, but if I had to do it, I could. Um, I played the two position. I played the three. I think that's if you had to ask me what my gift to the game was, is that I just was an all around player.
He definitely
yeah.
was. Definitely was. And I agree with Tegan on the defense because used to have a guard like Carlos Arroyo, JJ Barrera, like
Man,
some of the hardest people to
yeah,
guard.
yeah, and like I said, and that's why I always said like that I always made sure that I was in great shape. Because that same tournament when we went down to Mexico, you remember my assignment, the first game with Santo Domingo, I was the one guarding Francisco Garcia.
The Garcia, yeah.
Um, I was the one guarding Garcia, and then we had to go down now to Cancun, and then my assignment was JJ Barea. Now JJ Barea at the time was one of the best guards in the NBA.
Yes.
You know, running through all of them
Superstar.
screens
Super fast.
and whatnot. But I always try to do what I could to give to the game, and I miss basketball every day. Basketball became one of my loves, although I didn't start out as a basketball player. But it's just a game, man, where there's so much to it mentally, and I think that's why I really love the game, because people look at the game, the physical part about it. But basketball is a mental game, and if you
Yes.
you have that up here, man, it's a
Sky's the
beautiful thing.
limit. Mm.
Beautiful thing.
Mumbai, you got any fans question? Because I got a lot of questions. Me want to dominate the
No, dominate.
No, no.
podcast.
So,
Red Bull.
question from Kerryon Shepard. This question was gonna come up, but I'll just ask it now.
I
How
said
did
I was in the podcast. Jesus
yeah?
Christ.
Big up, Kerryon. Big up. Always. He said, "Jesus Christ." how did you? How did you become the commissioner of sports and recreation, and what do you hope to accomplish in terms of improving sports and recreation for the VIU?
So the funny thing is, and I tell people all the time, I am actually lucky, because think about all the things that people go to school for, the degrees and all of that stuff. 80% of the people that go to school and get a degree end up working in a different field than what they went to school for.
That is true. Yep.
My degree was in sports management.
Okay.
I took a lot of recreation classes and whatnot, so I knew what I always wanted to do. In 2007, I was actually working in Atlanta, Atlanta Job Corps as a recreation specialist. Um, at the time, I think who was the governor? Governor John Young was the governor. Um, I had ended up applying for a job just out of the blue. I don't even know why I did it. And I got the job as a recreation specialist to move home to the Virgin Islands. The plan was to move home for about 4 years and then move back to Atlanta. That was the plan. I ended up moving home in 2007. I've been home since then. So what, 12, 13 years later, I'm still here. But I started off as a recreation specialist, ended up moving to one of the centers. I was one of the centers director. Did that for 7, 8 years. When Governor Mapp became the governor, I ended up becoming the assistant commissioner under the Mapp administration. And it's weird because when you think of a changeover from governors, the first two people to go are always going to be the commissioner and the assistant commissioner. That'll be the first people to go.
That's true.
I would like to think that the work that I did as an assistant commissioner, the now governor, Governor Albert Ryan, saw that and decided to move me as the commissioner. But that's how I became the commissioner. Like I said, when Governor Mapp left, I was already like, okay, well, now it's time to look for a new job because new governor coming in, he's gonna bring in his people. Big shout out to the governor. Big ups for you for keeping me on. I appreciate you for that. As far as what I want to bring forward, man, when I was small, recreation was there was so much going on. There was a lot of different neighborhood leagues and different programs and whatnot. And that's what I want to bring back to the department, that excitement of having different programs and things to do. One of the first things that I know when I became the commissioner, as Tegan said, he's been trying to get onto this department for years.
Forever.
Under the past administration, we had put him under a contract, but the contract was only for a year and the contract was never renewed. I made it my issue or my business to make sure that I got Tegan on board. And Tegan hit the ground running. I mean, from when he came into the department, he just started doing programs right away. If I could get more individuals like Tegan, just throughout the territory, this department gonna take off, man, because Tegan just love what he do. He loves sport. And not just him, the other individuals that are already there that's doing what they do, the entire team, the guys them that I have right now, I could tell like morale is starting to go up. St. Croix is really, really booming. They had a lot of different programs going on, but COVID kind of really hurt us because when COVID hit, we had a little momentum going. We had a lot of different things going on. Softball were going on. We had a lot of adult leagues going on. Tegan had a tournament he was bringing from where the guys that were coming from Puerto Rico, right? Tegan?
On the States. We had the one from the Puerto Rico in the States.
And then on St. Thomas.
Elite, St. Thomas and Tatola. It was going to be one of the biggest tournaments we ever had.
And then on St. Thomas.
2 more weeks later.
Yeah. And then on St. Thomas, Richie them had man, their girls softball. Those guys out there practicing every day. We already had the modified leagues and whatnot. So overall, as a department, a lot of things were happening. And then COVID came and kind of shut us down. But I'm hoping that once we open up again, we could just start back with how we left off.
Well, nice. I mean, I can say because he's my boss and one of my best friends. I tell people all the time, even when we there in Pang and Mumbai, we have the best people in staff right now in terms of sports park and recreation. We really have people who you wanted degree. We got people with degree. You wanted people who are involved in sports. You have ex-professional players, not only Calvert White, but you have Renee Hansen, who was a collegiate athlete herself. And we have like people who in depth with sports, Beanie. For the first time in a long time, man. Calvert been around a long time. I've been around a long time. This is the first time I've seen in this department so many sports-oriented people who really cared. So I mean, Sports Park was on the up and up, and we got the right man to lead us. Hopefully, he don't leave us because I gotta be telling you all the time on the sidebar. You know, you could be a senator if you choose, but
No, 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 no,
It,
no.
it don't then
I
you
don't
are.
want. I don't want them kind of problem.
I'm being
Uh,
Savo to be losing licks in them with putting on the lights and
Listen, I love I love what I do. I love the department that I work for. And you know, as long as the governor have me, I'll be here trying to make a change. And you know, like I said, we need more, you know, sports oriented people like Tegan. Like I said, there is a possibility we're going to get some more people coming in that have sports background. You know, if the Senate and the powers to be would increase the budget of this department, the sky's the limit. I mean, everybody know we're underfunded, but somehow, some way, those guys are still make it happen, and I really appreciate them for that. I tell people all the time, thanking me and saying I'm doing a good job is fine. But really and truly, and I am not ashamed to say this, I am not the one out there doing the work. And I put it on my employees all the time because they are the one out there who is getting it done. I miss that. That's the one part about the job that I miss. When you're in an office and you're dealing with, the budget and paperwork and finding money and all of that stuff. It's good, but I miss being out on the field. That's why I love getting my hands dirty and mixing it up with the rest of the employees and whatnot. So I'm a little jealous of Teague and them because they get to do that there. But make no mistake about it. The success of this department is not because of Calvert White. It's the hard man and women who are out there doing the work.
right.
well said, well
Awesome.
said.
That's awesome.
Well,
Well said
let's
indeed.
give a
And as
round
a
of applause
representative
for
of the
that.
hard man and woman, we say you're doing a good job. So
Yeah, let's
just
give
just,
a round
just,
of applause
just take
for
the
that.
comment and run with it. And keep
Yeah.
doing what you think.
T- Tegan, Tegan look like he looking at the half or something. That's why he trying to tell me he's doing a good job.
Yeah. You peep game, you check Tian out. You get plan.
Yeah.
No, that well said, Calvo. Well said. So big up to all the employees and stuff, all the workers that are working hard and stuff like that. We appreciate you guys. So
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you mentioned that you miss basketball, like once COVID-19, like once they could get control over it and the city, the territory open back up again, like name some stuff that you have in store for the islands.
Well, it's not me. What those guys on the field. The good thing about us is we had a schedule of a list of things that we was going to be rolling out, and we still plan on doing those things. So once we open back up, it's going to be just starting back over again. But that's what Teague and them are there for. They're there to bring in new ideas, new programs. Um, they hey, listen, I depend on those guys so much. um Tegan mind that does be running. He'll be like, listen, I want to do this, I want to do that. My job does be to find the money to make it happen. But the guys them that I work with, they just naturally love sports, man, and they love the cheering them and they want to see things happen. So it's easy for me to just be the one that have to say, okay, you need such and such to make this program work. I'll find the money and whatnot. But the hard work does be in planning these different programs and actually executing it.
Good. And Tegan always had a knack for it. He started young with running man league and doing little things, and so he and I'm sure the rest of your staff is the same way because
Yeah,
them kind of people, I think they bond that way. Like you can't just wake up one day, man, Calvert is my partner, let me
yeah,
ask you for a job and go out and have the same type of success like Tegan
yeah.
and whoever else do it. So people like that, they're rare, unique, and
Yeah, you need a good team. If you're going to be successful, you need a good team. And like you said, Tegan came to the department running Man League and whatnot. Um, Renee was the president of Little League, so she had that background going for her. Vince on St. Thomas is a Little League coach, and he has his own non-profit baseball organization. Cork Thomas is the Little League president of Little League East. And then you had Jamila came in, who is very, she's into the numbers and the planning and stuff like that. So when you put all of it together, it's a well put together storm. And like I said, my team as well as all the other employees, they're just great to work with them, man. When you go to the different ballparks and you see, cheering them playing, and then you see all the employees in the concession cooking and laughing together, it's like a family, man. And I really appreciate them for that.
That's true. That's true.
That's facts.
Any questions from the viewers, Mountain? I mean, Mumba?
When you say Mountain,
Calvert, you were gonna tell us story.
Yeah. When you say Mountain, I start wondering what part of banana is,
No, we get a question right now.
Hey, but listen, I tell you a story. So St. Croix, in my older years, good friend of mine, basically used to bring me over to play in the man league over there. My professional days were done and whatnot, but I still had a love for the game, was still playing and whatnot. And I'll say this here, and I hope I don't get myself in trouble, but the atmosphere of the games in St. Croix at that time was on another level. I mean, the gym them used to be packed. And then you have Tegan and the mic, and Tegan, a man will walk through the door and fall long. Tegan will call a man fall long for the rest of his life. and the name will stick with him.
I will go and say you got to thank that man up there. He brought a different atmosphere when it comes to the man league.
Yeah.
You won't believe people will come and tell me, my son, just give me a name. My son,
Yeah.
I want a name, my son. Just give me a name. It was crazy, man.
At that time, what's his name? Bayi was on our team. And Tegan would call him Superman. So he would be in the car and Tegan was just saying how much push-ups he's going to do now. And he started talking it. Uno, dos. Hey, Tegan used to bring a different level to the game. I had a lot of fun playing in St. Croix. 1 year, and I think I'm probably the only player to do this, and I won a championship in St. Thomas. That same year, I won a championship in St. Croix with guidance, and then I won a championship in Tatola. At that time, I was island to island playing basketball.
You told me that. That was crazy.
That was crazy.
As a matter of fact, Tegan was going to change my name to Lord of the Rings. You remember that, Tegan?
That's a pretty good nickname.
No. I would go up to Tatola to play basketball. Whenever there was a big game, BC would call me and say, "White, we're sending a plane for you." I would go St. Croix and play. And then we had Man League over here in St. Thomas. So three championships. I was fortunate to win 3 championships in 1 year. Got one in St. Croix, never got it again. But that year we had a crazy team. I had Kitwana Rayman on one end and Jabari Brown on the other end. So all I used to do is just throw it up in the air and leave both of them go for it.
Jeez,
big truth,
that's crazy.
So let me transition
before you ask that question, Tegan. One thing that you see how you said that you're playing in Tatola, Rock and Cruz, like we didn't experience that level, but we all used to be playing in like multiple leagues, like growing up, like just basketball was our life. What you think missing from the youth recreation, or what you think is needed for the youth recreation to get back to that excitement and level of sports?
Well, it's twofold. We have a responsibility to do that. We have a responsibility to be able to provide the different leagues and basketball games, and Tegan started to do that again. I think within the last year, Tegan has held two or three tournaments that I could remember.
Yeah.
But
And we do
then,
the summer leagues also 10 to
yeah,
12 to 15 women.
but then I think the mindset of the players is different now, Pang. I don't, and I'm a little out of the game right now as far as who are the players and whatnot. But back then, you know who the hung them was. You really know who the ball hung them was. You would see them playing every different league. They'll be out on the basketball court. Um, I don't think the mentality of the players them now is as strong as it was, when you was playing or when I was playing. We generally had love playing
Yeah.
basketball.
We
I
did.
think now a lot of the players them just play because it's something to do. Um, but the mentality have to come back to it, and I think we as a department have a role to play in that. Um, I've tried to start back into neighborhood basketball even before I was a commissioner. Um, Went to VIPD to ask them for help as far as giving us security and whatnot. But I always ran into the parents them not wanting their children to go to certain neighborhoods. Um, if we could find a way to get past that, and I understand, trust me, it's a justified concern. But if I would love to somehow see if we could get into neighborhoods started back. I know in talking to Tegan, um, we talked about probably starting 3-on-3 into neighborhood first, and then moving to 5-on-5. But I think inter neighborhood is something. If we could bring that back, that'd be a great accomplishment.
That would be good for
Right.
him. That would be good. We got some.
It's
We got
hard
some.
though, Dan. It's
It's
hard
hard.
because
It's
Yeah.
easier.
parents are just not willing to take that risk into some neighborhoods, and it's going to take whether I willing to have the National Guard as well as VIPD shelter us at these games to see that it happen, but at some point we need to try to get back into these neighborhoods and hold some games.
Right.
True. True.
That's facts.
We got some. We got some. Viewer questions. Tegan, I know you had a question. You want to ask your question?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
You want me to go
Well,
ahead?
I was going to ask about the issue in man lead because it's been a time since we had a man lead in St. Thomas. What really happened? Is anybody really pushing to have another man lead in Rock once all this
Um,
COVID?
I can't speak for the organizers of Man League. I think there's several reasons. One, there's the issue with getting access to a gym. The two gyms that they used to use was Charlotte Amali and BCB. BCB is a problem because of the location. They felt that it's hard to get to the games and whatnot. The ideal spot was Charlotte Amali, but to be honest with you, the last couple man leagues that they had, there was problem with the players. The players them just would not do what they're supposed to do, and if you're trying to put forward something that's good for the community, where you're trying to get players to come out, and then you have people looking to fight the referees and the organizers, and people cussing and looking to fight. After a while, it's just something that you're gonna be discouraged of. You're
Yeah.
gonna want to do no more.
That's true.
Um, so it's sad because Man League was something that was really good. But at the end of the day, if we can get players to be disciplined and enjoy something that people putting forward, it's not something that people. And I used to be, and I never. It's funny. I was one of the players them that I would always talk to referees and whatnot. But I would never condone disrespecting and looking to fight a referee.
Right.
There's no place in the game for that.
That's true.
And I think that kind of, I don't know about St. Croix, but I know it killed the Man League in St. Thomas.
It helps. It kills. It does kill. St. Croix really not so much. Yeah, later on the players then was getting very rude. But I think more the greed factor and St. Croix was paying more of, people are just too greedy. You couldn't get the gyms, like you say. The access to the gym was crazy. Then when you do get the gym, you're doing a public service, but you gotta pay everybody and their mother, and you just ain't making that money. People believe because you get one or two people come through the door, that's enough money to pay and run a league. That's a lie. It will never happen. If you don't get outside sponsors and stuff like that, no amount of people we gonna get there were no lead. It's crazy.
It,
So
it, it's
I
it,
think
it's
it was important.
interesting. It's interesting because my opinion is any gym in the Virgin Islands should be accessible to do things like leagues and stuff like that. You want to be able to have an outlet for the children them to be off of the street. If you are going to be charging somebody to have to rent a gym and you're putting them through the whole ringer, you're discouraging people from wanting to now hold that event, which is defeating the purpose of what the gym was intended for in the first place, which is to get the children off the street.
Exactly.
That
It
is
was just
true.
difficult
That
on
is true.
our end, and that point of view, that was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to get a sports park. So now I can use the government and you guys to back me to get these gyms, because doing
Yeah.
it solo choices, man, it
I,
was a
I will
month.
tell you this. I will tell you this, Governor Albert Bryan, and this was early on after he became the governor. He wanted all public gyms open for the community to use. Um, there were some issues as far as who were going to be able to man the gyms. Um, there were some security issues as far as uh, safety, as far as people being there. But that was one of his things. He said if it's a public gym, is the tax people them dollars that paid for it, and he wanted them open for the children them to use.
That would have been awesome.
That was one of
Really.
the discouraging things I witnessed when Tegan was running the man league. Like
Mhm.
Tegan had a successful year. Everybody was loving it, Mr. Everybody. Like every time I come home to play, like people will always stop me, Mr. Tegan run the best man league, this and that. And then the following year, Tegan can't do this because this person asking for more money this year. The ref, the security,
Gym.
the gym, like everybody, they hear the success that he having, and it's not like he's doing it for him. Why are you
Yeah.
breaking him? This
Yeah.
man is doing it for the kids, for the people to have something to do. Like, look at the state of the island now. When you got something to do, your mind is not idle. But when he said agreed, I got a piece of this pie.
Mhm.
And that's what I feel like people just don't get the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And we definitely missing that, man. We definitely missing people getting the bigger picture. It's so true when they say it takes a village to raise a child. So imagine you trying to help out a lot of kids. Man, we need the whole island to be involved. The gym always need to be rammed with support. The
Do
people
do
them
a-
who
do any of you guys know the basketball player that named Crime Stopper?
Mm-mm.
mm-mm.
I
Never.
never heard a story.
No.
There's a kid in Baltimore, the Baltimore City League. His nickname is the Crime Stopper.
Why?
Because he probably brought both sides of the city that beefing out to the gym to
So
watch he play.
That's
and this is a true story. When this guy is playing, all the drug man them, the thugs, the bad man, everybody are in the gym watching him. Crime in Baltimore goes down 70% when he is playing. They ended up naming him the Crime Stopper.
Wow.
wow. That's
True
crazy.
story.
That is crazy.
That's a hell of an, and we know Baltimore is a rough place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty good player too, man. Really good player. Look him up.
People don't understand how universal basketball was sports. How
Sports in
sports
general.
to bring people together. You know what I mean? They do not understand that dynamic, my son. And once they do, I'm telling you, man, you give these kids an outlet, my son, like the crime rate will definitely go down. More successful kids, like you just give them something to look forward to, man. And it takes a participation from everybody. Everybody got to be involved, from the parents to the schools to the government. You know, everybody got to be involved.
That's true. All right. So we have two questions. And first I want to touch what Sunil Charles said about you, Calvert. He said, big up to Sunil. He said, Carl White is the ultimate person, absolute one of the best teammates I ever had. So
That's love.
Facts.
that's love.
Facts.
You know,
Sunil is that's my dude. Sunil was one of those players that was on that central team that I didn't like. Um, Sunil, I believe, came after the bench. But Sunil would start on any other team he played on. It's just so that that central team was so stacked. But that's been my dude for years, man. Real down to earth dude. When I go to Maryland, I try to look out for him. But you know, that's my guy for life, man.
Yeah. We have him on next week. We have him on next week Sunday. So
Sunil,
yeah. So
that should be
um
good.
yeah, it should
That
be
should be
good.
real good.
So we have a question from Carrie Shepard. If other sports-minded individuals were interested in joining your department to help out, how would they go about doing that?
You know what? Before COVID, I had 12 positions that I was looking to fill. Unfortunately, because COVID and the financial problems of the Virgin Islands, I lost all 12 positions. Um, and that was a real bummer to me because with the addition of 12 new people, this department would have now gone to another level because now I had additional employees. So the answer to that is currently there are no vacancies, but I'm hoping once we bounce back, Department of OMB is going to give me back those positions. But once they're available, you go on personnel website, you apply for the position.
Okay. We have a question from Jasan Page. Aside from weight training, is there a skill set or aspect of your game that you wish you would have worked on before going to college? If so, what is it?
Um, I probably would have spent more time in the gym shooting. You know, Anybody with a good jump shot, you put yourself above another player.
Yeah.
Um, you
That's
know,
true.
I didn't spend, like I said, man. I always utilize my raw talent to get by. As I went on to another level, I saw that now I had to put more time into the game. But you know, my biggest regret is I didn't fully put my all into the game when I started playing. When I did that, I was already overseas playing. I was older then. But if I had to do it all over again, like I said, I would have started weight training from high school. I'd have started spending hours in the gym. I wasn't that guy that was going to the gym by myself. You see, like how Tegan be in the gym just shooting myself. That why me.
Yeah, I was a
That why
madman.
me. I were out liming, partying, and then when it's game time, I know I could always bring my game doing then. But the problem was when you go to another level, um, the guys that are in the gym while you out partying, they're gonna bust your ass every time.
Bust
Every
your
time.
ass.
I
Every
was
time.
I'm glad you said because I was going to ask you to say what's the importance of working out individually, but I that's kind of the answer because you got
Yeah,
guys that go ahead.
like I said, I was the type of player I'll go out all night and I'll party, and then the next day when you're ready to throw it up, um, because I was so much in shape and condition, I could have get by. Um, but you know, make no mistake about it. The guys that are going in the gym, lifting weights, they're spending the 2-3 hours just shooting jump shots, shooting free throws. Those are the guys who games are going to elevate more and more. And that's what's going to separate you from being a good player and being a great player. I was a good player. I didn't spend the time that I needed to spend in the gym to be a great player.
Right.
So that's my biggest regret. But you know, Tegan had a hell of a career. But Tegan used to put in that work. Um, Tegan was in the
Coffee as well.
weeds. Say that again.
Coffee as well, because coffee is my one two.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
I
You
did,
you
coffee
know
was right behind me. So, like you said, we used to
those.
spend so much hours in the gym. People don't know. So where they see on the court, it wasn't by accident. We
Yeah,
we spent time and hours and hours. Even though we retire, we still in the gym, pan. It's
yeah, yeah.
that's our life.
Coffee came to the Ohio Valley after I left. So when I left, couple years after, then Coffee came, but he played at Murray State. And it used to make me feel so good, man. How I used to hear people in Ohio Valley talking about Coffee. I think he was Ohio
Yeah.
Valley Player of the Year.
Yes.
1 year. But
Yeah.
Coffee was in the gym. He was working out. He was lifting. You know, I would tell any young player, if this is something that you want to make a career of, you have to put in the time. Have to put in the time.
Gotta put in the time.
The perfect example of that is Kobe Bryant. When Kobe Bryant went to the NBA, all the other the players them that get drafted his year, everybody whenever teams came into town and them I was like, let me hang out tonight. Kobe would be like, for what?
Uh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like why? You know, he
Yeah.
had no time for that. His thing was just becoming the best basketball player he could be.
Yeah.
His life was in the gym. Everything he did was to get better at playing basketball. That's the
Yeah,
perfect.
the guy was a machine, man. I was one of the players when Kobe Bryant got drafted. I say he gonna last 2 years and he gonna be out of the NBA.
Definitely.
I would admit that. I was like, he playing against a lot of these white guys in Philadelphia. There's no way he's going to last. But what Kobe had and what I tell people, is good to have the talent, but Kobe had the mentality. I mean, mentally, there's not too many people in the game smarter than Kobe. But he just was he was addicted to the game. You've heard players tell the story that when they go to the gym, Kobe used to always beat them there. He'll be the first one in the gym and the last one to leave, and that's why he's one of the greatest. Top five in my book to ever play the game.
Definitely in my book. I don't play
What,
about Kobe
Steve?
myself.
Were you on that team in 2007 when we was in Vegas? You got a chance to play against him.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't on that team. I was on a team when we played. Team
2003.
them
Allen Iverson.
in Puerto Rico. Allen Iverson, Elton Brand, Vince Carter, Ray Allen. Who else was on the team? Jason
Timmy.
Kidd.
Yes, the
Timmy.
kid.
Timmy was on that team. I tell people all the time the ultimate Virgin Islander when Timmy came and he told me that, don't worry, tomorrow I wouldn't be stepping on that court to play against my hometown.
Yeah,
Um,
that was a
you
great
know,
gesture.
you know, and I know Tim personally, so I could say this. Tim gets a lot of flack, from his own people. But when it comes to the Virgin Islands, make no mistake about it, he love where he from. Trust me on that.
I don't know. I would never doubt it. Timmy became my favorite player when Jordan left the league. He became my favorite player, and he's also in my top 5 of all time.
He has to. Talking about that, because it's like, man, you got the same brain. I don't even know me. I gotta stop talking to you from now on. Okay, give me your top 5.
Wait. Let me get this question. Let me get this viewer question. Let me get this viewer question in. So Youssef, he is a question and kind of a suggestion too. We have had teams and team names that have been around for many years. Is it possible for us to get those teams to form a legitimate ball club to eventually create a VI basketball organization or league?
A professional league, more than likely. That's what you're asking for.
A professional league he's talking about?
Yeah. Or a professional team. Either a league or a traveling team. A professional traveling team.
I know who it was had tried to start a league a couple years ago, and then we was traveling between St. Thomas and St. Croix.
Money.
Yeah, that's what it was. Money. Anything is possible. I support sports in general. It don't matter to me what sport it is. My love is basketball, but any sport, as long as it makes sense, I'm going to support it. So if it's something that you think could work, bring in the proposal and sell it, and we'll see what we could do with it.
Nice.
Go ahead,
Tegan. No, that was it. I wanted to get to that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Kamish, we always got to ask the man lead question. Give me your top 5 players from St. Thomas.
Okay.
You know your top 5 players from St. Croix that you played against, or you just admire, excluding us, obviously.
Okay.
And then your top 5 NBA players. So I want your St. Thomas, then St. Croix, then your top 5 NBA players.
Okay, St. Thomas would be Jabari Brown, of course. I tell people all the time, I've never seen a 6'10" guy go from baseline to baseline um, as fast as Jabari used to do it. I mean,
Yes.
when you run in suicides in practice and the biggest man on the court is who coming in first, you know something is a problem. You know it's a problem. Jabari was just a totally different athlete like you've never seen. He kind of started that new era of when you had big guys stepping out and whatnot, and running the floor and whatnot. But Jabari, Akil Lewis, I tell people, and this is just total. Um, he's one of the best shooters I've ever seen. Um, the guy would miss 10 free, jump shots and will come back after and shoot 10 and hit all 10. He just was a flat out shooter. Khalid Gerard. Um,
Mamba.
I had hopes that this guy would have make it big, whether if collegiate or past that. Um, just an all around game. Another silky smooth. Khalid is one of them players ain't super fast, but would beat you to the basket and one of the deadliest jump shots I have seen in my time. How much that is? Three.
Yeah.
Um, Point guards. Raheem Richards, I love his game. Boo Boo was the ultimate point guard, setting up the team. Um, and then he's not on a lot of people's radar, but for somehow, some way, Jeff Roberts, for a guy that couldn't jump, always used to somehow block my shot. So I have to put him there. I don't know how he used to do it. Jeff couldn't jump over CD, but he was just long.
Yes.
So that would be my top five.
Jeff was a twin?
No,
Oh.
no. And Sincroy, oh man, that Hoyos team had probably a lot of them. What a shooter on Hoyos was. Is Borga his name was?
Borga.
He's probably one of the better shooters I've seen on Sincroy. Tennisman, it was Tennisman and what the other one name? It was two of them used to be on that team.
Mike Jones.
That team, they probably had on top 3, top 4 that I played against my league over there. Who else?
You never get a chance to play against Zorro.
No, Zorro. Well, I played against Zorro in practice, but when I played man league, Zorro had done leave from over there. Zorro had done leave. Interestingly enough, before Raheem even had made it to Syracuse, I played against Raheem and St. Croix man league. I think he had came home and he played with Bow. Shizzle was another good guard over there. Eddie was a really good guard. But that Hoyos team was during the time when I used to come St. Croix, that Hoyos team was a really good team. Professionally, of course, it's gonna be MJ, Timmy, Kobe. I don't like LeBron at all, but you have to give Jackie jacket. LeBron, and then my fifth would probably be. I gotta go with Scottie Pippen because that's my all-time favorite player.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's a good list. I like that. I was going to ask you, Scottie, being since you say you tried to model your game after him.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I should have wear my Cavs hat.
No man, and LeBron probably they get a lot of flack like how MJ used to get flack when MJ were in the league. I think people hate MJ just because he was so good. When he was winning all the time, you ever ask people why they didn't like Michael Jordan? They can't give you a reason. Right. I think he was so good, and I think that's the same thing with LeBron James. I mean, he's such a good all-around player. He takes good care of his body. In shape, he could do it all. He could shoot, pass, dribble.
Flap.
Yeah, that's the one part of the game.
That's my son. He's the best flapper in the game right now, yo.
Well, he learned from Teagan.
But he's too strong. He's too strong. As a little man, he's a big 6'8", 260-pound man. He shouldn't be stopping back.
I don't see LeBron get bumped and LeBron do this. And just fall down, my son. Like,
He'd a flap a lot.
He'd a flap a
He'd
lot
a
for
flap a
real.
lot. He'd a flap a lot. But he's a great player. You gotta respect what he's done in the game of basketball. Not just on the court, but off the court. You know, again, people try to compare them, and I see people saying, well, oh, MJ didn't do this when he was playing and he didn't use his platform. And again, I always tell people, you know, social media wasn't big back when MJ was playing. So LeBron, you know, he have a bigger stage to get his word out and whatnot. But you know, he's a beast, man. He's a beast.
I gotta tell a smart story about him because, you know, me and Pam, we got an opportunity to play against him in 2007. And I got switched off on Carmelo, and I had Carmelo in isolation right one-on-one. And I was getting ready to do my favorite little hesitation. You know how to do the little Ian Waiters fake crossover pull-up? Before I even get into the move, LeBron called it out. And I had to throw it away because LeBron had done call me up before I even do it. And then after the game, I asked him, how the hell you know I was going to do that? He said, man, we don't take nothing for granted. I don't scout you. I don't watch 4 or 5 tapes of you. So the fact that he was in the NBA and he was done watching Virgin Island tape and me, Pam, he let me know how serious these man is about their man preparation, brother. They take nothing for granted. That dude is a genius. I'm telling you.
He is. He definitely is a basketball savant. Yeah.
And it made me, because I was only 27 years old at the time, it made me become, I was already a student at the game, but then I just started to become more of a student, watching every game I play, every tape, to see what the hell he was saying in my game that was a tell. Like this dude was a machine. And they let you know, if you want to be at that level up there, if you ain't thinking like these man and studying like these man, you have no chance, because them man talented, they're physically talented, they got more money than you, they got the best trainer, they got the best nutrition. How you gonna compete?
That's big time. That's big time. You know, to be one of the best players in the world and to still scout, you know, teams and players like that. That's, like I said, that's why he's one of the best players, because he's a student of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's a student of the game.
Never stop learning. Never stop learning.
I always used to ask Raja, because Raja played in Philadelphia with Boba Chuck, with AI. And I used to ask Raja, you know, how he was in practice and whatnot, and he used to say, don't mind you see all the glitz and the glamour. When it came to getting serious on a game, you know, AI mentally was tough. One of the fastest players I've seen with a basketball, Allen Iverson. You know, when we played him in 2002 in Puerto Rico, I mean, the guy was just a blow. But, you know, Tegan went back at you know, as the one thing I could say about Tegan, you never back down from any player, Mr. You went against him. Yeah, you went against him, but that was a tough team that we played that year. But then the team in Vegas that you guys play wasn't a pushover team either.
Hey, the smartest player. Hey, the smartest player was on that team at that time was Jason Kidd by far, Mr. So Jason Kidd are doing stuff like he got a little computer in his head and he programming where everybody should go.
Yeah, but you know who I think smarter than he? Steve Nash.
I agree.
Steve Nash, when it comes to the game and point guard and Steve Nash, he's a smart dude when it comes to the game. But Jason Kidd definitely, you know, when it came to the knowledge of the game and knowing where people is and stuff, Jason Kidd, I think 2 plays ahead of everybody. He ain't thinking about what happening next. He thinking what happening next after next, and that's what it is his mind is.
And that's what I was going to, the example I was going. Jason Kidd used to catch the fast. He used to catch the outlet. He done the half court. And I remember one time, so this man catch a fast break, Calvert, turn around, take 2 dribble, never look back again. Take 2 dribble and just throw it up off the glass. So LeBron came from out of nowhere. And LeBron actually had to move his head out the way. Catch it and just throw it in the rim. So I was like, how this man even know LeBron was coming, I don't know. He never looked back, never turn around. Like you said, he don't know LeBron coming and he coming hard. I gonna just put it up there and I know he gonna come from out of nowhere. Ain't nobody in here jumping with LeBron like that there.
Yeah. Jason Kidd was the ultimate point guard. He was what you call a point guard. There's not a lot of point guards in the game right now. You have point / shooting guards in the game right now, but he was a true point guard.
Yeah,
definitely was.
Indeed. True. You know, Chris Paul, he's like one of the last, you know, Chris Paul. So
one of the last, Chris Paul. Well, on an elite level, Chris Paul is the last.
Yeah, in my opinion, all the guards them Calvert just said is really 2/1. I call him 2/1, not 1/2. Ain't too much more point guards in the game. No, it's Kyrie and Kyrie generation behind. Shoot first, pass later. That's it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. The game just evolving. You know, remember now, back in the day, point guards was considered people 5 had 5 days. The average point guard right now in the NBA probably about 6'4".
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Them type of size. The smallest man would be 6'2".
Yeah, the game just evolving. Centers, there's no true centers in the game anymore. All the centers them are now popping out to the wings and shooting threes and whatnot. So the game just moving farther away from the bucket. You don't have that center where you're gonna just post up down low and gonna pong it into the basket. Everybody got to shoot now.
But what's your let me jump in, bang. What's your feel? Because we came out the generation of hand checking, and that make a difference. A lot of people don't know that they make a difference, right? Like you say, we used to get abused because we are so skinny. We had to go to the weight room. What do you think the NBA right now really have gotten into a cardio league?
Too soft.
I'm checking at least.
Yeah, too soft. As a matter of fact, you know, that's one of the advantages that when I first went to the professional level and I saw that they was allowing a hand check and whatnot, you know, somebody being able to put a hand on you could really direct which way they want you to go and whatnot. So the game have gotten a lot less physical. Part of that is the NBA wanted scoring to go up. If you look at the scores of games now, you're seeing people scoring 100 and this, 100 and that. The NBA back in the day, the games them used to be, you know, in the high 80s. But they wanted to see more scoring, so that's why they stopped the hand checking and whatnot. But I like the old school game better than this new school flopping and all of that.
I agree, definitely.
Let's stick to the NBA. Name your favorite player in the league now, and what you think about the upcoming bubble, the NBA resuming in Orlando. What do you think about that?
So probably Kawhi Leonard would be my favorite player.
That's my guy.
Again, I love the guys them that are just all around. Kawhi could shoot. You have defense. He could rebound.
Yeah.
He could pass. He could do it all. And I appreciate players like that because that's how I patterned my game off of. As far as the NBA opening up, you know, I have mixed feelings. Let's not make no mistake about it. The reason the NBA is trying to get back open is because of money. You know, I get a lot of emails and texts as far as why a lot of our recreation facilities are not open. And I've made it clear that I don't think risking anybody's child with this COVID situation is worth it. You know, but when they say, well, the NBA is opening up and whatnot, I say, yeah, the NBA trying to make money. They still have TV deals and all of that stuff. Just look at the testing. There's a lot of guys that's showing up who was testing positive for 100 and something tested positive for COVID. You're going to start back playing basketball. Is a touchy sport. There's no way to social distance playing basketball. So you're going to see those numbers start again. Is it worth it? To me, it's not. But there's people who think that we need to get back to some type of normalcy. I know I wouldn't want to risk my life opening back up to play basketball.
I agree.
And we got a pretty good question. I want to jump in and ask this question because I think I was talking to somebody about this. George Bailey, he make a comment about this. This might be a little off topic, but what are your thoughts about the 5-star recruit opting to sign with the HBCU Howard University over big schools like Kentucky, Duke, etc., US, UCLA, etc.
So it appears that there's a movement that's going on right now in sports, and it's not just basketball. You see a lot of college football players and stuff now are now opting out to go from the big Division 1 names to now, uh, the black colleges. I love the movement. I love the shift. Um, Somebody I know had said in another chat group that I'm in, what if all the black athletes now go to the historically black colleges? And my question was, there's not enough historically black colleges to fit all the black athletes. There's just not.
Yeah,
But I do love the movement. I think it's going to shift, the powerhouses a lot if more significant names go to historically black colleges. One or two doing it is not going to do anything. They need to be a significant amount of number, and they're not just significant, but it needs to be more of those five-star athletes now moving to those historically black colleges. But I love the movement. I love it.
yeah, I like the movement too. I like it, especially those 5-star basketball recruits, man. It really doesn't matter what school they go to, the skill set they have and stuff like that, wherever they play, they still go get the looks, so
What I like about it is the attention that it will bring towards those HBC. Attention goes a long way. You get the right person looking, things start to happen for the schools, and I like the attention they're about to get.
yeah.
You gotta think about it though, and then now remember now, they just passed. I think the NCAA passed where they're going to allow players to now get some kind of payment or something like that. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's finalized yet, but think about all the money that these schools make off of players. Um, you know, a player like Zion, when Zion went to Duke, you know how much money Duke made off a Zion jersey and all of that.
Right.
A player choosing to go now to a historically black college, and now that school is going to get that money coming into their university. Yeah, that's a good movement. I love the movement.
Yeah,
Right.
man. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I echo that too because all we went to the NCAA. I think Punk went NIA, but it's still the same kind of concept. And they always like to claim they're playing on an equal playing field for all the colleges, which we know is a lie because the big schools like Alabama and Duke and all those guys who have these mega programs get all the money, and the money never really get trickled down to like the smaller schools them. So now that you can get these prominent athletes to go to all these different schools, I guarantee they're going to want to be changing these rules if it happened like that. Because once the money stop trickling in, that's when them man gonna start making changes.
Yeah.
I didn't realize money went into putting teams on your schedule. I didn't realize that.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Yeah.
some of the big teams, the money that they would make, the team that they're playing, like let's say a big team playing like my small school EWC, they give we next to nothing while they making like a bag. They pulling home
Yeah,
a
it's
bag
not equal. It's not
and just give
equal.
and
Yeah.
just giving you a little change to put you on their schedule. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because they feel just by you playing us, that's all
That's
they,
good enough for you. Yeah.
yes, yes. But I
And then
did
they
not
want to
know.
say it's an equal playing field, but it's a lie. When Alabama playing these small school in football, Alabama making all of these millions and um advertising and movie deals and channels and ESPN. They play a team like Jacksonville University, they give them 50 grand, but Alabama just make about 15 million. So
Right.
it's not equal. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
how you expect a small school to rise up to compete against you? So ain't nothing in NCAA equal. It's all about the money. So when they keep telling you they can't pay this and can't pay that, that's just a
Right.
scapegoat. That's just
No,
them man covering their bottom end.
the power
Yeah.
conferences, they're the one that make all the money. And yeah,
Of course.
they pay some. Some schools make $1 million. Some schools make 1.5 million. It just depends on how much they're willing to pay and how they negotiate it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm glad they kind of freeing up on allowing athletes to get some kind of payment.
Compensation.
I've always been one for that. The school that I went to, Southeast Missouri School, we led our conference in attendance every year that I was there. I think they was leading the conference 8 years in a row. The monies that we brought in from basketball paid for all the other sports at our university. I'm glad. You hear people say that, oh well, you're getting a free education and whatnot. It still doesn't compare when a team is making millions and millions of dollars off of these athletes. So I'm glad that the NCAA was able to compromise and see about paying athletes.
Yeah,
And you see that statement you just made, I hear it a lot where they say, oh, you're getting a free education. It's not a free education. If you do not perform with your athletic scholarship, that man will cut your scholarship in a year. They can cut your scholarship. So it has nothing to do with you getting no education. So I don't let nobody fool you with that. If you ain't performing, you will get cut and you will get sent home.
It's tough.
And it's not a free education. Hard. Ain't a free because you got on that scholarship. You got put in work. You know what I'm saying? When you're going out to parties and don't sleeping in and we out there practicing, running the streets, running laps, 5 miles, getting prepared, get to bed on time, hitting the weight room, and no, it's not a free. It's not a free ride. We definitely paying for it.
Yeah, That's right. Tough. It's tough. It's tough being a student athlete. It's tough.
I see somebody pop. They want a retro pay. I would like my retro pay too. So NCAA need to wind that thing back. Send me a check.
Good luck with that one, bro.
Well, they owe me a lot of money because and this is public records. I along with 2 other players was suspended for 2 games for allegedly receiving improper payments. Mumba laugh. I say allegedly. So when they start giving players money, I go make a phone call to see if I can, reverse that thing. We had to pay back some money to the school my senior year.
It's crazy. The NCAA rules, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, go ahead, Keegan.
Sorry, I said at least you didn't teeth no problems. The player from Florida State, Beanie.
Jamie Winston.
Something like that.
Yeah, from Publix.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I was just saying that the NCAA, man, they get some crazy rules because you could get a free haircut and you get in trouble for that. Just the simplest things, man. Your coach go buy you lunch, and next thing you know, you lose his scholarships and suspensions and that kind of stuff. So it's a crazy, it's a crazy situation, man, with college.
Even as going as far as coming home to playing man league, that's not something that we were supposed to be doing.
No,
in the summertime, we weren't supposed to be doing that. Like all of these stuff that them man, anything that got to do with money, if somebody collected money at the door, you can't participate in that. It's crazy how they just try and keep like a handcuff on you, like they own you, but then you ain't getting nothing for it. Absolutely nothing. Other than walking away with a piece of paper, like Calvert says, sometimes I ain't even gonna go and walk in that field. Majority of the times. So I'm glad that they coming up with that idea, and players should get paid because they're definitely on. It's hard to play ball and go to school at the same time. A lot of people don't realize that.
It's true. It's definitely true.
Any more questions? I'd like to give a shot.
We got no questions right now.
Calvert.
We good.
So you gonna talk a lot?
I never stop.
That's the voice. The voice got to talk. You can't be the voice. You can't be the voice if you don't talk.
Exactly. You got to talk, baby. You must speak.
Hey, so you touch on it a little. Tell me the story with Mountain and the banana.
No, man, that's your story, man.
No, because
Bo is who that tell that story good, man.
so when Bo come out, we gotta get Bo to tell that story there. With Mountain and the banana.
I got a question, Calvert. I think it was Rena said earlier that VI players lack basketball IQ. Is there a plan in the future about having basketball camps or anything along the line of that?
Yeah, the voice right there on the show. Tegan have a lot of the simple question for that is yes. I think we got away from the fundamentals of basketball. It's good to do different tournaments and different leagues and all of that. But if we ain't teaching the game, then we're not helping. I am hoping, and I'm thinking that it's going to happen because I know Mr. Calendar, who is the director for education right now. We are trying to get where people that are going to be teaching our children, whether it's in the educational system or whatnot, have some kind of certificate saying that they're qualified to be these coaches. One of my pet peeve was, and this ain't nothing against Mary in the cafeteria, but one of my pet peeve was Mary in the cafeteria were coaching a basketball team because she don't work for education and she gonna get a $3,000 stipend. So Mary's who coaching the team. That's all good. Mary's a nice woman and all of that, but Mary ain't really helping the children them learn the game.
Exactly.
So I am hoping that we don't see any more, individuals where they just getting a stipend and there's a math teacher who never played sports in their life. And I'm not really downing these people, don't take that. That's what I'm saying. But with any other job, in order to get a job, you have to be qualified. Correct?
Right.
Correct.
So I can't be a math teacher if I don't know 1 + 1. I can't be an English teacher if I don't know how to put sentences together. It's the same thing with sports. You can't have somebody coaching a team if they don't know what is the fundamentals of that sport or even how to teach it. So I am hoping that between our department and the Department of Education, IAA, all the different organizations that are involved, where there is certification involved for these coaches to be dealing with these players.
Right.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's true.
That's a smart way of thinking.
Well said. Because I see it daily. Because I go and watch all the sport. I'm just a sports fan. Period. Whether it's basketball, softball, I mean, Commissioner didn't even know how to mic softball. When I tell you I doing softball game, he started laughing until he came over and heard a voice. Then he understand himself. You know what I'm saying, Commissioner?
Yeah, hey, I tell you, the guy is all around, man. He don't have the softball game, them hype up. And a matter of fact, I didn't even know that Tegan was a really, really, really good soccer player. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was my first sport.
He's a legend in Antigua. Antigua.
My whole family with soccer. My whole family.
The Shepherds,
and
man.
my father in the Hall of Fame in the Caribbean. So
the Shepherds and the Lakes.
I mean, it's well documented. That was my first.
The story I heard is that your father was upset that you played basketball. He wanted you to be a soccer player. That's true?
Yeah. He was very mad. He was very pissed. He didn't talk to me for like a couple months. Like good soccer. Couple months. Real talk. That'll be something good for Punk story. Ready mess with me. But
hey.
I mean, look, you don't forget. I don't even remember my question. Where were I asking again? Because it wasn't supposed to be about me, Beanie. How we switch into that? Come, refresh me. Where were I asking? The elementary.
You don't see a lot of players that are not well coached.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I go to some of these games, it just breaks my heart. I mean, they can't dribble, they can't pass. The little fundamental thing in terms of laying up with your right hand, right knee. The simplest of things being is so sad. And this is elementary. we have to really change that, man. And I hope education really get a hold of that. We have to change that. Ain't about that stipend. We can't just put a little $3,000 stipend in the future of our players because we're destroying them. They leave elementary, they learn nothing. They go junior high, they learn nothing. Now they come to high school, we can't prepare them for college when they can't even dribble, can't even pass, can't even shoot. They can't walk. So I see it, and I echo what you're saying, man. We have to shift that in the entire Virgin Islands, not just basketball, but in all the sport there, man. This thing is really getting sad with this stipend thing.
And no discipline. One of the things growing up, we were coachable. You know, we would get bench if we doing what we supposed to do on the court. No matter how good we be, no matter like you find a player that could shoot real good, and that's all you let that person do. Dribble, shoot, dribble, shoot, dribble, shoot. No discipline. Pass the ball. Look for your players. Come back and play defense. Like nobody talking up to the kids because they don't want the parents to pull the kid or because another thing, parents, you gotta allow your kids to be coach. Don't mind all the hard talking and the you building that child for how it's going to be when they get to that next level because coach is going to talk to you rough on the next level. They're going to rip you a new a-hole. Any coach, it don't matter. So parents got to allow the kids them to be coached. Don't pull them. Don't get with the coach. Don't, just, stay on the sideline and allow your child to learn and because this is how it's going to be when they get to that next level.
That's facts.
We don't.
Yeah. It's not.
You know what's funny? Real quickly, Mumba. That's when me and Coffee learn how to cuss bad word. Or no, we never used to cuss bad word before Beanie until we get to college. When last year Coffee cuss a bad word? Coffee never cuss a bad word.
I never hear Coffee cuss.
Neither me, honestly.
Until we get to college, the next level, that was it.
The only person Coffee to cuss is that dude up there. That's the only person Coffee. No, Tegan.
Tegan.
The only person he can cuss.
Yeah, my college coach used to cuss my mother all the time. I mean, he used to, I will send you back to the Virgin Islands to your mother, he used to cuss my mother all the time, my son. But it's just a different level now. Even like you said, Pang, the parenting, man. The sun too hot. They want to cheer them in the sun. They need water. I mean, we are to blame for the way some of our children are approaching the game now. It's just a little softer than what it used to be.
It definitely is.
I was gonna touch on that the learning curve when you guys was talking about basketball, and there's the same thing with baseball. It's a big difference with the learning curve. Tegan and Coffee down there, they played professional basketball and stuff. Calvert, you did too, and whoever else back home that play professional sports. But I think that a lot of the coaches that's coaching, I think they should start reaching out to some of the players that actually, went to college and play professional and kind of pick their brain and stuff like that. Because I'm involved in sports up here, and I'm telling you, the talent, especially I'm more basketball up here just because my son involved and stuff. It is not a joke when it comes to the basketball up here. These kids, I just saw a 6'7" player handling the ball like a point guard, pulling up, hitting 3-pointer. Just the game is effortless. So, I think it's important that, we kind of hammer down on the fundamentals and the skill set and stuff like that. And I think we should start reaching out to a lot of people that have experience, Like we have Pang here. Pang is a perfect person for people to pick his brain. He was an all-around player. He's a good defensive player. Carl Hughes, the commissioner, is the same thing. I think some of the coaches should reach out. It's not about like no ego or anything like that. It's just for the kids. If the more information you get from different areas is only going to benefit the kids. It's going to definitely benefit the kids. And it's the same thing with baseball too. I was a pitcher. So when I come home and I talk to the pitchers and stuff like that, I'm giving them high level information and stuff like that, that they would have never get, playing little league and stuff like that. So I think it's important for everybody to start reaching out to one another, just to help out and stuff.
So let me jump in, Kamish. Let me switch base a little bit because now we are in COVID, and I
Mhm.
know we don't have a lot of meetings in terms of your staff at sports park and stuff like that. If there's no major foreseeable change, I know this world is really going into this virtual and stuff like that. I personally hate the virtual. I don't mind doing it. This is a good medium and stuff like that. But eventually, sports have to be something you play. It's just, in just watching it on TV and I always said I think our kids then play too much video games and they're on their phone too much anyway. So in terms of just pushing everybody to virtual, I don't really agree with that. I mean, what's
No,
some of you
I
in
think
terms of
what's going to happen, and as we move further down the line, and we get more guidelines. Remember now, this thing is new to all of us. Um, I could see there being more coaching, clinics, instructions, and stuff like that in person. What's really going to hurt is the actual playing of games. I don't foresee that happening anytime soon with COVID. But I think if we could come up with a way of having the kids them come to the gym where we do instructions, there's a way to do it in a, you might not be able to get 50 children because you want to have space and whatnot, but we could do actual in-person training if we minimize the amount of people that come to the gym. We have to figure out the drills them that is going to be less in close proximity, but eventually that's what is going to have to come to.
yeah, because that's what I would like to see too. I don't want us to be cooped up in our house, being like Tom Shepard and
No,
above the rim, dribbling ball by ourselves. By me cross, you come. I mean, eventually you gotta go out there and do it to somebody, beating. We
no.
can't. I mean,
We are in
it's
the process
virtual.
of getting the actual guidelines from the CDC. Once we get the infrared thermometers where we could test people coming through the gym and whatnot, then we'll be able to allow people into the facilities where we could do training and whatnot. But we have to get our equipment first before we could do that. But definitely we want to move to more in person. But we just have to make sure we have the guidelines and the equipment in place to do that.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Pang, let me just
How
sidestep a little bit and ask you a question because you and Mumba have sons who are actually playing basketball now. What's those process? What's happening in the States? You in Jacksonville, Mumbai, and Orlando. What's the guideline in terms of this social distancing? What you have to deal with in terms of training our son? Because Mumba last week you told me he went to a tournament. How is that possible?
so last week he went to a tournament.
Florida, that's how it's
Yeah.
possible. He in Florida.
So anything happened in Florida?
Anything.
No.
Tegan, Tegan.
We go ahead, Pan.
These people out here like it's the COVID-19 is just not around. So my my son then right now he's switching schools. He did like a strength and a training program. This is just it's not really basketball. It's just to get him stronger, get him like ready for the next level. So they have like exactly what Calvert want to bring home. That's exactly what they have in place. Like the kids them they'll be walking on one, they on one side of the room, distance away from each other. They have different rooms. Like the coach can walk with 3 kids this time, and and then they switch. They sanitize the area and they just switch them in segments and throw. And it lasts for 2 hours. He goes in at 3. He comes home at 5. He comes out at 5. And exactly what Calvert trained to do home is exactly what they're doing. Like, they got some people that holding their program like it's just normal, no testing or nothing. Sign up your kid. I hear walking, like training, but they got it. They got leagues and stuff going on. Like I watching people posting videos of leagues, like people in the gym, they got a mask. They ain't no social distance, no nothing. They feel like the mask is enough. But Florida, that's Florida for you because
That's crazy.
people are out
Well,
here like ain't nothing serious going on. Go ahead, Mumba.
so I've been to 2 basketball tournaments last week and I had one today. And they're doing a pretty good job. They have the infrared, check your temperature. They have an app and you have to you have to do a waiver. You have to sign up and do a waiver, and then you have an app where you sign up, and then you got to take a selfie. So when you come in, they're not doing any hand-to-hand touching or anything like that. They have something where they scan your face and your picture comes up. You have to wear a mask when you're going in. You after each game they sanitize all the bench, the chairs. They have chairs. So all the chairs is spaced out for the teammates and stuff like that. They sanitize it. Even the fans, is only certain amount of fans will come in the game, and the chairs them is spaced out as well too. I'll tell you this: not everybody was following the rules. I could tell you that, but I didn't hear anything last week or this week as far as if any kid got COVID or any kid got sick or anything like that. There was no reports whatsoever. Not many a lot of tournaments shut down, but some tournaments is still going on, and they're doing the best that they could do, I guess. But that's that.
So in terms of the players, then they just did infrared testing with your son, and he's allowed to play.
They do it every kid. I mean, they check your temperature, but I mean, you can't really tell if you check it. Your temperature is not going to let you know if you have the COVID or not.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I never really believe in the whole temperature stuff, but they just doing all the precautions and stuff like that and everything. You got to wear a mask, the temperature, sanitizing and everything. Make sure you stay 6 feet apart. After you finish play, you have to leave the gym. You can't be hanging around and socializing like that. Although some people were still socializing and stuff, but it's human. People gonna do what they want to do, and some people gonna follow the rules and stuff. But that's just some of the precautions that they were taking and stuff like that. Some of the steps. And like I said, I haven't heard anything yet. So none of our players got sick or anything last week or this week. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much, Kamish, is nothing we can take out of them two. Just open up and run ball.
No, but you said training, right? If you do training, you could have somebody instructing the training, but you're not having that body contact.
It's easy to control the environment if you're training children.
Yeah.
So I agree with the training. Where I don't agree in is the whole tournaments and playing. Let's be real. A basketball game, you're going to have individuals' bodies touching each other, sweat flying and whatnot. So if you're going to allow them to play the game, it's funny that they have them taking pictures where they don't want them touching hands and things like that. But they allow them to play. But they allow them to play the game.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that. But
I said the same thing.
But Mumba, you are right. A lot of doctors are now saying that the infrared thermometer is a waste because it tells you absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
True. It tells you temperature. It doesn't really tell you if you have it or not. So we know that if you do have it, one of the signs is, I guess, is your temperature. You'll have a fever. But there's a lot of people who have tested positive that didn't have a fever. So
right.
Yeah. A lot of people test positive and they have no symptoms. So, it's like, what can you do?
Yeah.
I think people are just restless. I think this quarantine is getting to a lot of people, and the first opportunity they get to get out, they out. They're hitting the streets hard, and it's tough. It's tough being in your house all day, every day, not doing nothing. I don't work from home, and it'll be a relief to get up and go outside and get some fresh air, and I'm telling you. But my thing is, I don't leave from my desk. Only place I go is to go see my kids and come back, and that's it. It's just hard though, being home every day. And I know for a fact that I'm going to walk from home all the way to the end of this year. We know that for a fact.
Wow.
I would like it to be permanent because I could save on gas. I could just roll out of my bed and just jump on my computer and go to work. But I don't know if like I kind of miss going into work, but like sometimes that working from home every day could get to you, Mr. You could go a little store crazy just being in this house all day.
Do your job have the system where your computer can't sleep past 15 minutes or something like that? Like you have to be online all day?
No, it don't have the system don't have it, but my manager watching me, I know. So if I touch my keyboard, I gonna go inactive, and it gonna go inactive. A little status gonna pop up on our little instant message, and they're gonna say inactive, and that's different than if you lock your computer yourself. If I lock my computer, it'll just say busy. If I don't lock it, it's gonna lock by itself, and they're gonna say inactive.
Oh, okay, I got
So,
you.
so yes, to answer your question, yes. And now that I'm thinking about it, yes, because now I gonna got text message where you at. I got a phone call where you at, like so, cause she'll be watching. But
You
so
saw like you saw like you don't get them text or phone call
oh,
before.
last
Yeah,
time I
Yeah.
did
You don't got
all the time.
contacted.
I did in the kitchen fixing breakfast and not even know my computer locked. And my manager hit me, Steven, why you not answering my ping? Where you at? And yeah, I
Yeah.
don't get at that plenty time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what we do as a department and what we provide, we have to get some kind of normalcy where we actually out there dealing with people. Um, to continue the department fully virtually is just not going to happen. You know, we have a challenge right now. Tegan have some basketball clinics and what that we're doing virtual. It's good. But at the same time, you know, it can't compare to actually having them cheering in the gym there with him and whatnot. So
yeah.
we're hoping that within the next couple of weeks that, you know, we get some kind of, you know, clarity of what's going to happen, and we could move forward. But, you know, I know all those guys ready to get back on the field.
Yeah, I could imagine. You know, so that's what's going on, man. Everybody just gotta be safe. You know,
Yeah,
whoever.
well,
You
I
know.
with the commission because he's on the safe end, and I think he's taking the right approach because, like we say, you don't want to put nobody child in no harm or no way. You don't want to put the workers them in no harm or way, and we don't really have a definitive way in terms of the Department of Health how to deal with this thing. So
Yeah.
you can't now just come and drop off your child and then ask me to train him if me know he, her. So we just gotta be a little bit more patient. Keep going out there doing your little physical stuff, walk a little bit if you have to, do a little bit of running, don't stay in your house all the time, and just stay healthy. Boost up your
honestly,
immune system and stay healthy.
honestly, like I surprised how you're treating COVID-19 the way how you're treating it. Like to hear the two how you talk. If I just rely like on videos that I either watch of my friends and people who post stuff on Instagram and stuff, and I wouldn't even think I got any effects of COVID-19. I still seeing club going, like people still out and about, like going beach, and ain't like I see one or two people in the background of their videos, like, and it's everybody posting videos. Like I wouldn't even think I going through COVID-19. Like how is the environment down there? Like truly, because people will post what they want to post.
Yeah, that's
You,
true.
I don't think people taking it serious down here. If you look at the beaches are packed with people. Um, People going to the club. Um, you know, when you look at the numbers, it can't compare to the states. I saw Florida have like over 10,000 people
Mm.
test positive in one day.
Yeah,
Jeez.
When we
yeah,
One
saw
day, Tegan.
one
crazy.
day, we had 10 people test positive in a week, and everybody were up in arms. But per capita, them 10 probably equal to those 10,000
10,000,
people.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But it, I had to tell people, it's not serious until you know somebody close to your family that get COVID and suffered from it, or even died from it. I know a couple of people that got it, but they recovered. But I fortunately, knock on wood, having known anyone who died from COVID that was close to me. So
Right.
Yeah.
Same
I
here. I
I
know. I know
I
a few
taking it
people who got.
serious. I taking it serious. I believe it's there. I know a lot of people don't think it's there. It's a hoax. I taking it serious.
I think it's more the younger generation, man. The younger generation just have a little nonchalant attitude, and they're the ones out there really doing most of the partying. The older generation, dude, you can't even sneeze. They watch you like you were dead. Like, I mean, obviously, when the news come out that it harm the elderly population, it kind of give that false sense to the younger population that okay, I might get it, but I can recover with 14 days. So, what's the big deal? You know?
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that's a
But
sentiment of these young people.
let me tell you a story about that, and this is why we didn't have summer camps. We was in the planning stages of having summer camp, and then articles start coming out, of course, from Florida, um, that Florida tried to have some summer camps, and then the next week, half the summer camp contracted COVID-19, and these were children.
Jeez.
So automatically, I shut it down and said we wasn't going to do it. But again, I think it's not serious until you know somebody that end up getting it and suffering from it. Um, it's just I want to get back to sports, but for me, it's just
Mhm.
not worth one person dying from it. Not on my watch.
You know, what I don't think people understand, like when it comes to that, like if you really think about it, if you really take the precaution and live your life the right way while this thing is going on, the quicker it's gonna go away. It can't go away when are you still outside, just being nonchalant, normal, and then more and more just contracting it every day. Then that gonna just raise the level soon. They gonna just raise the steps of taking more precautions, shutting down the city, shutting down the school, shutting down like it's gonna take even longer to get back to the normalcy of life. But people just not living that way, my son. They want to get their fun now. They on that YOLO concept.
Yes,
They
sir.
they want to get their fun now, and nothing ain't stopping them, my son. Like people will be out like normal. Like the mall open back up, the beaches open back up, and when the beaches open back up, that was like the wrong thing because they the reason why they shut down bars, like no restaurant, no nothing could have anybody sitting by the bar. Like the bars them out by the beach, every bar out by the beach, like people were contracting COVID-19, like 16 at one bar, 12 at another bar, like both employees and customers. So that's why they shut down the bars. Like nobody could solve at a bar in Jacksonville. Period.
Wow.
I want to say Florida because I think Tyrone said that last week too.
So
Because it's
everybody
just
coming to the
Shut down
Virgin Islands.
all shut down all bars in Florida,
yeah,
Arizona, and I think it was Texas.
Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means our tourism go be sky high because everybody will be flying down. Yeah.
Is it a rule where if you do come home, you gotta stay home at least 14 days?
They're asking you to do that, but nobody's making it mandatory. I don't even think they're checking. But let's be honest, if you're coming down here for 5 days, there's no way you quarantine yourself for those 5 days.
Yeah,
Right.
no,
You know what I'm
you
saying?
just you should have
So
never go. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That makes no
um,
sense.
yeah.
So let me
yeah.
actually see, because I know my two padrons up here, them man will go all until 5 o'clock. But
I
let
ain't
me
going
ask
till
you,
5. I ain't going all night with them, man. They get work
I
in the
know because
morning.
we got work. So let me ask you now, because we done putting the face to the name and the legend, and I learned
Mm.
a lot about you tonight with your story.
Mm.
What's in the future for you? Because I know the story ain't done yet. What your future aspiration in terms of sports park, in terms of where you want to go? I already tried to tempt you in terms of senator, stuff like that. What's
Man,
next for Calvert White?
the big thing on my plate right now is we have all these facilities to try to fix, man. I have like 58 different facilities within the department territory wide that is receiving FEMA money to rehabilitate. It's a lot. Um, and I say that is because I don't have an engineering or construction background. And we was dealing with a lot of these projects in-house. We finally got somebody to kind of come on and manage them now. But I think number one, I want to get all of our facilities back up. And when I say back up, I'm talking about lights at the facility, they're operational. If we could enhance them, excuse me, if we could enhance them a little more, we could enhance them. I know some of the facilities are going to get some LED lights and whatnot, which is great.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's my first priority, to get the facilities back up. Um, this department for years now is lacking in technology. I want to improve the technological side of the department, Facebook, online rentals, online applications, all our programs. You could register for them online. That's one thing I want to see the department move now into that technological stage where people could stay home or go on your phone and rent one of our facilities instead of having to leave your house and come into the department. And then third, if I would think, I would just want to really, really fully staff the department. We understaff far by a lot. If I could get an influx of and I'm calling these numbers, and it's kind of unrealistic. But if I could get 20 to 25 employees on St. Croix and an additional 20 to 25 on St. Thomas, where now each one of the facilities that we manage have people at them, now we could now do programs for those different neighborhoods and whatnot. If we are fully staffed, where now people in that neighborhood don't have to go all the way across to another neighborhood, but they could stay within their area and get
Yes.
recreational activities or whatnot. So those would be my top three visions for the department. But like I said, as long as the person in charge would have me, this is where I'm going to be. Keegan talking a politic talk, but that's a different beast.
Yes,
I
stay
ain't
away.
ready. I ain't ready for that.
Stay away.
That's not something I'm looking at right now, or even have aspirations to be. I love what I do. I love working with children. I love working in sports, and that's what I'm gonna continue to do until the wheels fall off.
Nice,
Um,
nice, very nice,
I
nice.
do have a question in regards to that.
Mhm.
So, for like people like me and Mumba, who we have a life abroad, and a lot of times, a lot of our athletes and people, we go away, we get our degree, and we don't come back home and give back. But people like me and Mumba, we still love our VI people, and we still want to participate in giving back to our people. Like, for the for near future, or whenever we get back to normalcy, do I think I'm gonna have any program where former residents, athletes, and soccer come home and participate in some of the camp, fill out the application, come home, get a little summer job, and
This department thrives on volunteers or people that want to come and work with us. If we didn't have people like that, private businesses, individuals just coming to the park and want to give their time and stuff like that, I don't know how we would have made it. So to answer your question, we are always open, and we always open arms to let people to come in and assist us and whatnot. A lot of the people that worked our summer camps are former athletes that come home, that we give stipends to. So definitely, anytime you are home and you want to, whether it's put on a program, or assist or help out or whatnot, we're willing to accept.
good. Like that, like that.
You hear that one about you too?
I did a baseball camp last summer.
Okay,
That's
good,
good.
good.
That's good.
Free baseball camp. I did it. Jamelia, big up to Jamelia Henry. She reached out to me, and I did that. I did that for the Little League. Little Leaguers
Uh,
back at St. Croix.
uh,
So I mean,
Jamila,
oh yeah, go ahead.
Jamila supposed to be coming back next week or week after. She's an important part of our team. Um, I specifically seeked out Jamila, and I tell you why. Jamila was working for St. Croix Foundation, St. Croix Community Foundation, and I always felt that this department needed somebody that had some kind of grant writing skills, because we was underfunded. So my thinking was, if I can get somebody like that There's a lot of free money out there, a lot of grants out there that we could have gone after to try to get some additional funding and help. Currently, she's already found or managing 2 additional grants that we are trying to get. So, big up to Jamila. Congratulations on your new baby. But it's time to come back to work. Time to come back to work.
She still got 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks?
Yeah.
Big up. Yeah, big up. No, but that was a great question Pang asked, because our past guests, they had the itch and stuff like that to give back and stuff. So if they're watching, they kind of have an idea how to make that happen as well too.
Let's do it. All they gotta do is call up, and we'll make something happen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
We definitely have the people. I know for years funding has always been a lot of issues, and with getting stuff happen. We definitely need more volunteers, man. We just want everybody to be involved. Our kids, man. Our kids is what's hurting from all of this. Like the departure of sports, recreation, like our kids is what's hurting from it, man. And so we need a participation for everybody. If you're looking, just try to get involved some way, somehow, my son. Tegan is a good source on the island, but I'm sure they got somebody in your neighborhood that you could talk to. Somebody, hey, who I could talk to? I want to get involved. That's how. I'll start with that one little question. Who I could talk to, because I want to get involved. Our kids are hurting, and we just definitely need to get back to where we was so we could progress. And I love what I'm hearing from the 2 IO on the panel, Calvert, Tegan, who in place. And I so excited for the future, man. Honestly.
Yeah, I want to thank you all for inviting me, to tell my story a little bit and get it out. This is needed, man. This type of forum is needed. We have so much talent in the Virgin Islands. It's crazy. 3 islands the size that what we'd have produced out of here. Mumbai, anything I could do to help this keep on going on, whether it's sponsorship. More, of course, I'm more on the youth side. So if you're going to do a segment promoting our athletes and whatnot, that is something I would be willing to sponsor. But continue doing what you do, man. I love the platform. Anytime you want me to come back, I'll come back and be a co-guest or whatever. But I can't believe I almost get me here for 3 hours.
I told you.
Tegan, you tell me. You tell me, Tegan. You say Pang on command and he gonna want to get up. But tomorrow is a work day. I just want to tell you thanks. I really, really appreciate it from my brother. You like my little brothers. Like I say, I watch you from when I first came up and start playing basketball with the national team. And anything that I could do to help you guys out, don't hesitate.
Nice, good. Bless up. And you definitely our big brother. And we will continue to look up to you and look to you for guidance. And anytime we need advice or anything, you is definitely our big bro for life, bro.
Yeah, man.
Well, my only request now, because I see you every day, so me ain't got no last shot. Can you get Jabari to come on my show, please?
Oh, yes.
That's what we want.
You definitely got help with Jabari.
Jabari Brown?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I go look for him tomorrow.
Yeah. Definitely got help with Jabari.
Okay, not a problem.
All the viewers, we appreciate you guys coming out, supporting Calvert, asking all the questions and stuff like that. We talked about COVID, condolences and, rest in peace and our blessings to all the families that have been affected. I know, I see Rena, I see Sunil said they know some people that died. So, we send our respects to them as well, too, Calvert, we appreciate it. We have Sunil on next Sunday. You're more than welcome to be a guest host, since he had some such kind words to say about you.
I get some stories to tell about Sunil and staying down there in them UVI dorms. So I ain't missing that. I ain't missing that show.
Okay. So you could be a guest host if you want to. I'll
be there.
Yeah, but thanks for everything. Everybody, thanks for your support. So Live Wire Sports, they usually be on live 7 o'clock Tuesday. So go out and support them too as well. So,
All right, brothers, man. Love.
Love.
Great show.
This was a
Sound good.
great show. No internet issues, no nothing. I think